All right. You know what that sound means. That sound means it's another great edition of the Thursday Night Throwdown. Jordan, we will always be my boy. D will be on. He'll be on a little late. Rich is going to be on here in a second as well, so he's not going to leave me hanging tonight. We're going to talk NFL. We're going to talk NBA. We're going to talk this live Carolina game. What's going on right now? We're going to talk to the Celtics, the addition of Joel Embiid tonight and what that means. We've got some baseball plays for you as well. D's giving out the Baltimore Orioles over 4.5 on that first 5. Really kind of like that. The Orioles are playing really well. And if you haven't noticed, Kansas City sucks. So not basically there. So you're right in the hot hand right now. The Orioles bullpen is badly kind of been beat up here. So I think I like the actual total game over 8.5. So that's going to be what I'm going to take as well. You can tell me if you want on that. But I've already tailed my boy D. We're going to take that as well. I'm going to take the over 8.5. I'm trying to see what else is out there that we could get onto. That was there. So we've got some different plays going on. So should be very good right now. We got Carolina up 1-0. D liked Carolina tonight. I like New Jersey. That's why we didn't give it out as official play. I like New Jersey to win the series. So my brother likes Carolina. Of course, he's a Carolina season ticket holder, so that kind of is the reason that he's all over Carolina. Carolina's got a very nice team. I just think if the goaltender, if Schmid continues to keep playing like he did, I think he'll be the difference in the matchup. I'll be able to have. I will say it's been nice to see Gunnar Henderson starting to look a little bit like the players people thought he actually was, but so far it's way less than what you expected for a guy who was supposed to win Rookie of the Year. But that happens a lot, especially in that Rookie of the Year thing. So we're going to continue to talk about there. We'll see when the guys come in today. I've taken a little parlay today. We're going to take Marcus Smart. I think he's the key to the game tonight for the Celtics. So I think he's going to get 9.5 points. He got 10 points even in a bad game. It's there. I still think Tobias Harris presents a matchup problem for this Boston. So I'm going to roll with Harris again at 12.5 points. I personally took him over 14.5 points. So right there. I'm going to run with one of the hottest hitters in baseball, and we're going to run with that as well. We're going to take Jorge Mateo over 0.5 hits. And we're going to take Seattle money line versus the dreadful Oakland Athletics. So, but there's a couple guys that look at Oakland Athletics. So, have been playing pretty well, but they just have zero pitching. Absolutely none whatsoever. And Ryan Mountcastle's been on a little bit of a tear if you haven't been watching that. He's kind of loving this Kansas City pitching. So I'm going to go ahead and take his total bases at over 1.5. So we'll add that as well. All right. What are those other game we got going on? We got the Angels with Ohtani tonight versus the struggling St. Louis Cardinals, who are definitely underachieving so far in this early season. I'll ask Rich when he comes back there. I want to give his opinion on something real quick. All right, since it's just me, I'm just going to relax for a second. Excuse me one second. Someone just left. All right. That was my son and his girlfriend. Yep. So we shall see. So you guys are a little late coming on. It's just basically me. So we'll get everything set up and we'll just kind of go through here and see what I like. So since I've got some time here, you got Philly, Boston. We're going to be under in this game. Hoping basically a beats here. He's going to slow down the pace a little bit tonight in this game. We'll see what happens. Number has been dropping, so if you don't get on it soon, it's going to be even smaller. Was looking at Boston. Damn, Schmidt's having some trouble here. Second goal by Carolina. 2-0. Maybe the game 7 has really tired this team out. Hope not. Just put a lot on the Devils, so. We have Malcolm Brogdon. We'll be on Brogdon over 12.5 points, and I'll be on Denver +5 in the first game in Phoenix. I'm taking it short. I've took Brogdon at 15, like I said. One thing you really got to look at, there's a couple things. Like in this game, I think this is going to be the best NBA game for steals. I think if you look at the last game that happened, yes, Boston played very careless. They threw the ball around there, but that's kind of what the 76ers do. I mean, they constantly get sales. You had Harris, Tucker, Reed, Harden, and Maxey all got credited with the steal, with Maxey getting credit with 4 steals. Maxey's a -200 to get 1 steal. One of my favorite guys to pair him up is with Tobias Harris. People don't realize Tobias Harris always gets a steal. He just almost always gets a steal. You look at his last couple games that he's had, when you look at the steal market, and he's had 3 of the last 5. You got a versus Celtics, versus the Nets, versus the Nets again. And you can generally get a really nice number on that. So you pair the two together, you get a +154. So that's what I'm going to do. I think they're still going to get a steal. We're going to look at some of the Celtics guys as well. But I think we're going to have – I think they still pressure the Celtics, and the Celtics turn the ball over, even with the addition of Embiid. So I'm going to take Harris and Maxey to get a steal. So we're going to take that at +154. The Devils need to get it on right now. They look like a tired hockey team. Not what I wanted to see. Tatum and Brown is the other 2 guys I'm going to put together. We're not going to get anywhere near the same price, but those guys always get a steal. Rich is here. Cool. I can stop talking to myself.
Yo. Sorry, lost track of time there.
Oh, it's all right. I don't think we really got a lot of things out, so it's just kind of like me talking to myself.
Yeah, didn't like a whole lot on the baseball card today.
Well, I mean, the problem is, you've got Ohtani. Ohtani should win. So it's a question, what do you pair him up with? Like, I took the Angels and Seattle and you can get plus money just by pairing those two. I know you don't like to pair things up, but I
No, I
think in baseball
don't.
you do. A lot of times, I think
No.
you have.
Well, I mean, when I looked at the board today, I immediately threw out like over half of the games. I just wanted nothing to do with them. The way things are being priced is kind of it's
It's a little ridiculous.
they're pricing me out of every bet that I want to make. Like if
That's
I
why I
look,
said I do these. I do really well with those over 0.5 hits and taking a money line parlay from a favorite
yeah,
out of the line.
yeah,
And it's a simple bet. You're not really looking at two teams. I just need the one guy to get a hit.
yeah,
And you really got to be a little bit cautious on your hit guys because the guys are like, oh, I'm going to take Mike Trout. Mike Trout's going to hit. He goes 0 for 4. So many nights, it's unbelievable.
yeah,
I literally sometimes cringe anytime I have to take them. But I think there's 5 or 6 really, really just bad teams. Just bad. There's no way around it. I mean, they're just like here. Let me tell you. I just put this together, and I'm throwing this in some fun money. I took the first half Angels, right? Tiny
okay,
on the mound for St.
yep,
Louis. I'll take the Oakland A's at plus 1.5, and I'm getting plus 285. But I'm only doing that to hedge out my other plays for Seattle.
yeah,
So, like I said, it's just going to be fun money. If it comes a hedge, if the Angels win, if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. But
yeah. I took the Angels first 5 minus a half, and that was even money. And then I took the first 5 under 7 Rockies Brewers. And that was
see, I
it.
don't get
That's all I took.
my under 5s are terrible from a total perspective. Like this 4.5 that D got for Baltimore, it's 4.5 everywhere, and mine it's 5.
Yeah,
And that is a big deal because most of the time you're going to win that 3-2, or 4-1. I mean, and you're just like, okay, it's probably not going to go the way I want it to, but we'll see.
yeah.
Um,
A lot of my bets that I'm getting now. I do my numbers, and then like based on my numbers, I'm like, okay, so in this spot, I like, based on the numbers, I like so and so, like I like the Twins on the first 5. And then I look
yep.
at the line, and I'm like, oh, Twins on the first 5 is, it's minus 160 on the money line, or you got to lay 25 cents on the on the minus a half, and it's like I'm not betting that. Like I don't want to bet that. And then now they'll even give you, a lot of times they're giving me like minus 1.5s on first 5, and I'm like, I don't want to bet that either. Like that's a terrible bet.
Well, I think the books are trying to tell you that juice is just going to be there. It's a question. You're going to pay juice for almost anything you do, and it sucks. It's sad. You look at it, you're going to pay juice. I mean,
Yeah.
any favorite you want is minus. Like even the radio stations, your guys on Twitter. Like you know me, I don't like giving anything. That's why I kind of do two little parlays and stuff like that to take out the juice. And
Right.
I don't like paying juice, and I don't like giving anything that has anything over minus 150. But you
No.
got great play minus 185. What? I'm not paying minus 185. I'm just and I'm not saying you parlay big favorites because the big favorites sometimes aren't the big favorites in baseball. To me,
Yeah.
I look at
That's a way to
different
lose
teams.
a lot of money in baseball.
Correct. I look at teams that they play. I look at
Yeah.
the Athletics suck ass. Whoever the Athletics playing, I'm going to target them. The Royals couldn't score on my mother. They stink. They're a team to look at. the White Sox pitching, especially in the back end, just like last year, not that very good, letting him down. The Nats kind of cost me a bunch of times. I will tell you, I stopped looking at them and I stopped really going after the Motor City Kitties because the Motor City Kitties keep taking money from me.
Well, I mean, I will bet any team in the right spot for the right price, because there's a point where there's value on the dogs, but you got to know like when to take them. Like something that made me a lot of money last year was taking first 5 team totals when they were given 1.5s. They would give 1.5s pretty regularly on Baltimore last year, and I was first 5 over 1.5 team total for the Orioles was a big moneymaker last year. None of my books are offering first 5 team totals, so now I got to find one that actually has them. I got to find one that has first 5 team totals, because that's a bet that I like to make pretty regularly. I also have to find a book that's got better baseball lines. Like I'm on MGM and DraftKings and stuff. Like these domestics, like the fucking baseball lines on these domestics are terrible.
Yeah, I will flat out tell you. I'm going to add Tatum over 4.5 assists in this game. I definitely look and I see. I see the books a little bit more, but again, that's where I would rather say, okay, this is the bet I'm going to take at minus 170. I'll take that, and I'll take Jorge Mateo to get a hit, because those are the guys that are hitting. You're Trevor Larnick, who you took for Minnesota, and I think you were on the right thing. However, I think you really got greedy. You were going for plus 285s, plus 300s. I really think on those, I can get that to plus 125, plus 140, and I'm perfectly fine with that. It would be just the same bet I was going to make on the Angels' first 5, but I'll take the first 5 with, and it's got to be, to me, the way I look at that is guys got to be 5 days in a row getting a hit, or, and I just found something out today, and I don't know why I'd never tried this, but it's hilarious that it actually works. Or 3 days in a row consecutive hits. Like, so we started to get on a heater. Is that would look like if you've got an off day in there, and everyone has an off day, but it kind of shows me what type of hitter he is. I'm looking like Devers has 27 RBIs. I looked at Devers as oh, he must be having a good year. 27 RBIs, 8 home runs. He's batting .220.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to stop taking his total bases because he can't hit. He's not hitting the ball consistently.
The way I like to do it is I do doing those single game parlays. I do like I'll play the matchups, so I'll look at the matchups. Historically, the guys against the pitcher. Like a lot of times, I'll do it in a game where I like the total. Like tonight, I picked the whatever game I picked, the Boston game, I think. And I like the total over in that game, but like I didn't really like it that much. Actually, I think the reason why I didn't like it was because I think both their bullpens have been pretty solid, Boston and Toronto. So I like kind of the first 5, and instead of taking the first 5, I looked at the pitching matchup, against the lineups, and I found 3 or 4 guys that I liked that had over 300 against the opposing team's pitcher. They had hit over 300 in their career against them, 20 plus at bats. So if dude's hitting over 300, 20 plus at bats, then I look at what they're hitting right now, and I'm like, okay, like this guy, so just take, total bases or take hits or whatever, and then a lot of times where I get screwed is the RBIs. So I kind of have to watch what I'm doing with the RBIs, because that is contingent on guys being on base. It's very situational. Guys have to be on base in front of them, and so there's something to that with the RBIs. So
correct. You're dependent on other people. That's always the issue is there. So you ever go into Prop Builder
Yeah.
and you build stuff?
Yep. That's how
I
do that.
discovered that Prop Builder's not sometimes smart enough to realize you can take the same guy to get one hit and one total base, and it becomes a parlay.
Yeah, see, mine is the one. The one on my book is like if I take something that either is the same as something else that's in the parlay, or if it lowers the odds or doesn't make the odds any better, then it'll either remove the other thing or it'll give you like an error or something.
Like it normally would. There was times it would do in basketball. If I took anytime touchdown and the guy to score a receiving touchdown,
Right.
it wouldn't allow me to do that. So I didn't even think about it. So today I was just fooling around and I had it left in. And I accidentally hit the submit button and it went through. And I was like, so Nico Warner's got to get one total base and he's got to get one hit. So I took my minus 400 because I was going to take that off and take something else. And all of a sudden, I got a minus 145 for him to get a hit. And I was like, I like those odds. I'll take that.
What up, y'all?
What's up, D?
How you doing?
You know, I'm doing good, man. I'm on the way home, almost home.
Nice.
What have I missed? I know the Canes are up 2-0, or they were.
They're up 2-0.
Nice.
Yeah. For some of us, it's nice. For other of us, it's sucks.
Well, when I was reading the chat, I'm like, oh, it sounds like Fox is on one side and D's on the other side. So Rich is going to be on no side.
Well, you have the night game, so
Yeah, I took the over with you in that game, and then I also took the Knights, of course.
of course.
Yeah. I'll just say I'm not taking the Knights. I think they're going to get lit up here.
Okay. Well, I mean, they were the first team to make it to the second round, so.
Yeah, they were. I just think they're going to get lit up. So we shall see. We got lots of things. So the Rays are beating the Pirates. The Rays are putting the Pirates back into order. I'm going to the American League Championship Series game here in May here between the Rays and the Orioles on Monday. So
yeah, I'm going to Padres Rays for Father's Day. That'll be dope.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's always fun. Yep. Well, that's in June. I thought you don't have to wear pink, so that's a positive. No, you have to wear pink when you go to the Mother's Day game.
Yeah, well, I got to wear blue for the other one.
Yeah, I guess. I don't really remember people wearing blue, but okay. I guess blue just doesn't really sit out because it's kind of like, oh, that's just part of their uniform. Well, I mean, the Padres have like 19 to 20 colors in their uniform, so who knows?
You know, our uniforms are based off McDonald's. They were our big sponsor back then.
What, like from the 70s or something?
70s, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched The Founder? Have you ever watched The Founder?
No.
No.
Oh, watch The Founder on Netflix. You'll never look at McDonald's the same way.
Oh, no.
No,
that's all my son eats.
It's not a bad thing. It's just the story of McDonald's. And it shows essentially, like, everyone knows Ray Kroc. Like, if you told me who developed McDonald's, your answer you're going to say is Ray Kroc, right? Because that's what's in every McDonald's. It's a picture. It's in everything. He basically swindled the company from the McDonald's brothers.
Damn.
You really Michael Keaton plays Ray Kroc. It's a great movie. You should watch it. It's on Netflix. It's free. It's called The Founder. It's more interesting things than you'll ever know. Like, just to give you a hint, this comes out at the end of the movie. This is not a spoiler. McDonald's is the largest landholder in the world.
Yep, you're right. I know that.
But he uses that. Well, what he does, and this is kind of how he swindled the company, and I'll let you watch the video, the movie, because the movie's great. You should watch the movie. McDonald's when you say you want to buy a franchise, like anywhere else, you buy a franchise, you buy the franchise, you go put the franchise wherever you want. There was a smart guy that taught Ray Kroc that basically you want to. Bob is interested in a franchise. I want to have a franchise in Cleveland, Ohio, downtown. McDonald's finds the property. They buy the land, and then you build on top of their land through construction loans. So McDonald's owns the property. 100% what it makes you do is you can't deviate for the McDonald's plan or they'll just kick you off the land. So you have to sell. I mean, you got to remember the 1970s, 1980s, people were kind of deviating each one, kind of doing whatever they want to do and still just keeping the name. So this goes all the way back in the 40s and 50s and stuff like that. And they own the land, so you had to stay in line. Yeah. You had to make sure you listened and did whatever the McDonald's corporation wanted you to do, or else you're there. So every single McDonald's after, I think it's 1972, was McDonald's bought the land. And then the McDonald's uses that land they just bought as collateral to buy more land.
Wow. Monopoly at its finest.
So every place where there's McDonald's, they own the land. They own that plot wherever there is a McDonald's.
Oh.
The only downsides of ones you want would be the ones in like stadiums and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a great movie. You should watch it. It's called The Founder. It's really interesting. You'll find out so much how McDonald's there. You'll find out what Ray Kroc actually did, where he does have a point because what he did really made the company. But you also sometimes see him in a different light that he was kind of an ass.
Sure.
But, so, the guys that, there's a lot of big actors in that movie. You definitely should watch it. It's a great movie. I mean, my father watched it, so, it's got, who is the guy? I need to watch this too. Let me see who else is in it. Nick Offerman, that's the name I was looking for. Nick Offerman's in it. He plays Dick McDonald. John Carroll Lynch plays his brother. Linda Cardellini's in it. She plays Joan Smith. BJ Novak's in it from The Office. Laura Dern's in it. Wow. Patrick Wilson's in it. So there's a lot of big-time actors in the movie. It's great. You should watch it.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah. I just sent it to her, so we'll definitely put that in the 100 other things I gotta watch.
Yeah. So it's.
So I got that tail end of that conversation. Were you saying that you found something that we might be able to attack?
Well, you got to see if your book allows. Got to see if your book allows you to do it. But Bet Online allowed you to do it. So there was a couple other things that allowed you to do it. So I guess you know how we talked about last time, where you could, if hits are minus 400 to get one hit. A lot of times you can shoot over to total bases to get one total bases like minus 270, and then you go parlay that with something else that you like, right? Where we talked about that. I accidentally was able to parlay total bases over 0.5 and hits over hits 1. So
same bet.
It's the same bet. It's the same bet. It just parlayed. It gave me a better number.
Wow. Yeah. I'm about to check right now in a second.
A lot of the offshores and stuff use the same. They use the same algorithm or the same computer to do those calculations. So
well, it's actually a program. It's generally called Easy something. Generally does it like Easy Bets is the one thing there. So we got the Celtics game there. I've got numerous parlays out there. We got Brown, Tatum steals, Harris, Maxey there. We got Tatum assist. We're going with the under. I'm taking the Sixers, and it has nothing to do with the beat. It has to do with the number. You look at the playoffs, and no one's covering large numbers. And there's no reason to sit there and say that the Celtics are going to cover a large number just because they're at home and they're supposed to. But no one's covering a large number. Like you looked at the end, once you got past game 3. No, they left to her home. Why do you need to?
What's up, Gerardo?
What up, Gerardo?
Man, he saw a hell of a game last night. They freaking smoked Philly.
But it had a part where you could just put the bank information.
That game today was good too. I bet my uncle on that Dodger game, and Philly was up most of the game, and they walk off with I believe, a grand slam.
Oh yeah.
I can write down the bank information for you. Either work. Yep. I didn't know you were home. All right. It is freezing. Is it freezing up there in Cleveland?
Yeah, dude. It's been so damn cold. Like, yeah, we set records for the lowest high temperature yesterday and today. Yesterday the high was like 39, and today it was like 41.
Yeah, it's like I get back and it's 42 degrees, and it's like I'm like it's May. Don't give me this shit about global warming. It's May. Yeah, I'm freezing my ass off.
It's freezing. But I think this is the end of it. I think this is the end of the shit weather. It's literally been raining and cold for probably 10 days now.
All right, so Embiid touches it first. He kicks it out. Here comes Tobias Harris, and he hits his basket. His first basket is generally a good bet. Tobias Harris gets his first 2.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over here, man. I mean, we went from like 80s, 85 to, I mean, it's going to rain tomorrow.
Do you see people are doing, asking AI for
bets?
First basket, and who's going to score the first basket, and who's going to...
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it, but I would never have asked AI for like that. I mean, I was interested to see that AI was a big part of the writer's strike because I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it makes sense for a studio to go, all right, why am I going to pay you when I can just turn around and go, give me a story about so-and-so, and here's my story.
This AI shit, though, is getting out of control to the point where the people that, like, came up with the algorithms and shit like that are like, you guys have got to stop. You have to stop with the AI. It's getting too crazy. Like, people are using it for everything, and it's scaring the shit out of people. It's scaring the shit out of the guys that, like, created it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a part where there's too much bandwidth that they'll eventually stop that by putting a fee to it.
Yeah.
So it won't be free. Hold on 1 second, guys.
You can, like, kids and stuff can use it to like write their papers and shit. Like, and they're coming out with like stuff for teachers so that they can check against, like, they can check papers and things against AI to see if it was, AI generated or something like that. Yeah, it is getting way out of control. Number one, I am so glad I don't have to deal with that with like young kids or anything like that, because that's too much for me to deal with. And I'm glad I'm not a teacher.
Yeah, fuck that.
Man, shit is crazy.
What you got up, Rich? What you doing? Making dinner?
Yeah, I'm throwing together a couple salads here. I got some chicken to grill up here.
Right on.
Yeah. Figure I'd leave my video off so you guys don't have to watch me make dinner.
Oh, it's all good, regardless. Don't bother me.
But, yeah. But, did you guys watch those? Well, we watched. Man, I fell asleep. Missed that the end of that Stars Kraken game. I think I fell asleep after the first period.
Yeah. So, so I saw the first period, like first 10 minutes, Dallas scored. I left the game to go watch maybe the Padre game for 10 minutes, and it was 3-2. 3-2 Seattle. And
it was crazy.
Yeah.
My wife was like picking stuff up down here like living room area, getting ready to go upstairs to go to bed, and she keeps hearing the thing go off, like another goal, another goal, another goal, and she's like, "What is going on?" She thought they kept replaying the same goal. I'm like, "No, they freaking scored again."
Yeah. No, some stat that I saw today, the Kraken are the first team to have 17 players with like 20 or more points.
Dude,
Some shit like that. Like it was insane, man. You know, and last year they got all these picks, you know, or the picks, or they get veterans on their
right.
on their contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, elite veterans, and you know, they shipped them out. They traded who they had to trade, and they made some moves. They're very young. They're gonna be scary, man. I mean, they beat Colorado. That's all that should be said.
It's the same. Like it's the same thing as like it's kind of the same thing as what happened with the Knights. Like they come out of the gate and just were really good.
Yep.
Like they were just really good to start. And I mean, there's something to be said for, you know, people are, and I think it's especially like the old school hockey fans, like the original hockey fans, the Canadian hockey fans. They trash Bettman or whatever because he's saying, or they're saying that he stacks these new franchises or whatever, so that they're successful. And it's like, yeah, he might do that, but why wouldn't he? Like that?
Right.
Why wouldn't you want them to be successful?
It's not. You got okay. So the key thing is about there's a lot of depth, and he took a lot of depth essentially away from teams and put it there. And then what you have to do is you have to hit on your draft picks.
Yep.
Like you have to hit on their draft picks. And you look at the last game, whatever Oleg, whatever is who it's the one guy, Borkowski, whatever. He was even on my team, and I can't even pronounce his damn name. Who?
Pavelski?
No. Bjorkstrand.
Oh, okay, yeah. The guy scored like
Bjorkstrand.
2 goals, right?
Well, yeah, he scored both goals in the Sunday game, but he's been carrying them through the playoffs, and that's what you needed. You needed someone. You're not seeing Yannick Gord, who was a 6th to 7th man on the. He was a third-line Tampa Bay player carrying Seattle. It's seeing guys like Jared McCann had a really nice year. He could score the goal because that's what he had to do. But they so far Grubauer was kind of an afterthought at goalie. But he once was a hot prospect for Washington, and he's played well. The other thing you do if you're an expansion program, the first thing you did, if you go back to look at the expansion draft, they took defensemen.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you're trying to make the game 2-1. And then they got some scoring by Burakovsky and Borkstrom, and then McCann had a nice year. And I mean, and I think a couple things. I think Colorado, you kind of had a team that wasn't really gelled. You had Industries. Landeskog was a massive key. Then Kadri got hurt. And you just had times where McKinnon had a solid year, but there was nobody else. If you take McKinnon, playoffs, it's much
McKinnon
more
and Randall, Makar.
Well, it's much more difficult to get the puck in the zone. Guys are just hitting. You have way more at least. You have so many more dumping and chase. You're not just going to carry it in. You get your ass basically creamed.
No, they don't play in playoff hockey. Yeah, you're totally correct.
Well, and you can get a goalie. Like if you get a goalie that's hot, that you know we've seen it. You basically see it every year. There's one guy or one or two guys on one of these lower seeds that the goalie is just on fire, and he can carry you through several games. So, I mean, Bobrovsky's doing just insane stuff for the Panthers.
Yeah, and he goes up and down. And he's done that throughout his whole career, where he could be on fire this series. And the next series, he could suck ass.
Well, that's the thing though. Like that's the thing though with goalies. There are very few goalies that are like super good and reliable. Like there are guys that can do it for a little bit. You know, and I think that's where you see a lot of times teams. It seems to happen a lot where teams screw up, especially I'm kind of seeing it with the Penguins where they think they got the replacement, they think they got the new guy, right? They thought it was Matt Murray, and then they let Fleury go, and Fleury goes to Vegas, and then we figure out that Murray's really not all that good, and then they let Murray go because they thought Jari was the guy, and then Jari's hurt all the time. Casey DeSmith sucks. Like it's like that's their biggest issue is they just don't have a reliable, good goalie, and I think that's the case for probably 2/3 of the league. They don't have a good, reliable goalie.
Well, that was the big thing with Schmidt. I mean, Schmidt came out and was lights out versus the Rangers. Takes him in Game 7. He's coming into this game. He's giving up 3 goals in 2 periods.
Yeah.
So I like the number with there because I think New Jersey has an underrated offense. Yeah. So,
are you hopping on anything here? It's 3-0. Jersey's only got 1 shot.
I mean, the only thing, there's nothing to hop on. If you want to hop on it,
they're tired. They just played 7 games of hard fought with the Rangers.
It's possible, but yeah.
Carolina's been done for a couple days, right? They've been done for
a week. They've been done for a week. They've had a week off.
Yeah, see, that's why I like the Knights. I mean, Vegas has been done for. They've been done for almost a week, I think, or over a week.
Yeah. I think the Oilers put a number on.
All right, so when do we bet the Orioles?
What
happened?
Where are they
Nothing.
at?
Literally. Greinke's pitching like it's 2015.
Oh, it's 0-0? That sucks. That means that 4.5 has got no shot.
It's got 1 shot, 1 inning.
Well, Greinke's going to fall apart after they start coming through the second time. That's usually what happens.
I mean, at least we're in the 4th, and it's not the end of the 4th, so they've gone through 3.
Yeah, and the Orioles have 1 hit, so he's only 1 over the minimum.
I'm more watching Tampa Bay just put a number on the Pirates. 6-1 now.
Yeah, they couldn't have done that last night, huh? When I had the over.
For real. Last night I got cooked, man.
Yeah, well, they actually did. They beat the crap out of the Pirates, but they didn't score there. They only beat them 4-1.
Oakland winning is like ridiculous to me. Like you should not be losing.
Dude, Mason Miller. Come on. They couldn't even get him a win. The kid had a no-hitter through 6 innings. They couldn't even get him a win.
All right, so let's go through this. So, leadoff batters, 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a home run. Your second guy's 1 for 4 with a run. Your third guy's 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Your fourth guy's 2 for 2 with a run. Your third guy is 3 for 3. Your fifth guy's 3 for 3. Your sixth guy's 1 for 3. Your seventh guy is 3 for 3 with 5 RBIs and 2 home runs and 3 runs. Your eighth guy is 2 for 3 with 2 runs. And your ninth guy is 2 for 3 with a home run, 2 RBIs, and a run.
What team is this?
Atlanta.
Atlanta's beating the shit out of the Marlins, 13-4. Yeah. And Michael Harris is playing. That's all they need, just more offensive firepower.
They're only through 5 with 13. Wow.
Yeah, they got 5 runs in 5 innings, and they've already hit 13 runs. So the Padres are finally getting it together. That was good.
Yes, Seth Lugo for the Cy Young Award.
So what happened?
My dad dropped him.
Did the Devils score right after? Did the Devils score right after I said that?
I put it on, to be honest.
Yeah. They scored
3-1.
right after I said that, I
Yeah,
think.
3-1, right when you said so.
We're not dead. We're not dead here.
What do you got, the 1.5?
I got plus 1.5. Yep.
See, that's a good
And
bet.
so far we're looking good in the basketball game. We got 20 points scored in the first 6 minutes. We got the world's worst camera angle ever. It looks like some guy's iPhone is by how we're watching the game right now.
Those plus 1.5s are good bets, especially in the playoffs. If you can get a nice number on those, a lot of these games are. I mean, they finish tight. They're not blowouts.
Yep. Boston's up 4 early. So far, we look there. Harris has got 2. Maxi's got 3. Nothing really outstanding in there. Horford's already got a steal. Tatum and Horford already have a block. Brown's got 7 points. We've gone to the bench here. Time to let Brogdon get some work. Live total in the game now is 206.
Man. So I want your opinion, Fox, since you're the NBA guy. What the hell? The freaking Cavs got cooked, man. I didn't watch the series, but it did not look great.
Not enough scoring. You didn't ever get the big Mitchell game. You never got the 25 points.
I kept hearing no bench, no depth. That's what.
Oh, there was
everybody
definitely
said.
there was 100% no bench. And what was worse is you were watching Kevin Love put up 9, 12, 15 in different games, and it's like you just gave them away.
Yeah, people are mad. People are mad about that.
Well, I mean, I honestly think you've got to find a way to move Okoro. Because when you have Okoro, Mobley, and Allen, you basically ended up with 3 guys who can't score consistently. Allen did nothing. Allen made $20 million and did absolutely nothing. You either got to go to him, move more things. And I like Allen. I like Allen as a player. But if you're not going to use him and he's just standing there for defense, it's kind of like right now when I'm showing the Knicks game with Miami. If you're not going to get Mitchell Robinson involved because you're worried about him getting fouled, like you're not running any alley-oop plays, he's not crushing the glass, get him off the floor. He's got no purpose there. And if I was the Knicks, I would start Hardenstein in Miami because Hardenstein's playing with heart. I know that really is a terrible pun, but he is. He got 4 offensive rebounds on 1 possession. Why? Because he's running into guys, jumping into guys. He's doing his best Kevon Looney impersonation. Keeping the drive line. He knows he's not supposed to score. He did score his over 2.5 for points that I took, but he was able. He did his job. He got the rebounds. I fouled. Mitchell Robinson's just kind of standing there waiting. You're not running anything for him. So because you're not running anything for him, Bam Adebayo is just standing in the paint. He's doing exactly what AD's doing, which is 100% an illegal defense. But if the refs aren't going to call it, and the refs actually did call illegal defense on Bam in the first quarter, and then the rest of the game, they allowed him to do the same exact thing. So it didn't make any sense to me at all. The Cavs didn't have enough bench. You didn't have enough scoring up top. You never got that big game. The Royals score first.
What is that? The abominable snowman?
I like Pascatina. Pascatina is probably the best player on their team. Bobby
I
Wood
like Bobby Wood, but he's definitely declining.
Bobby Wood's really fast, but
I think he's hurt.
If you want, he's playing.
He's not playing tonight.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. He's leading off.
Oh, I thought somebody said he was out tonight.
No, he was there. I just saw him.
So, yep. All right, so I think the Cavs got to figure out what they're doing. Because to me, it's kind of the one thing where I talked about it. I know you disagreed. I was like, Mobley didn't make that big step. Now, granted, he still could make the next big step next year. But I don't see what I've seen so far, him being a consistent enough scorer. And what I mean by next step, he needs to get into that Tobias Harris 16-point range. That's what he needs to do. 16 points, 10 boards every night. And you say, oh, that's not that big of a deal. And it was like, Right now, he's in that 10 to 12, 13 point range. Just those couple extra points is going to make a bigger difference. And he needs to be a better shooter for 15, 16. He's never going to be a three-point shooter. But that's fine.
It kind of seems like Mobley and Allen are kind of like the same player, kind of the same guy. Mobley scores a little more. Allen's a little more, in the paint kind of, defensive guy.
There's a major size difference between the two. Like from weight perspective, like Allen's also 7'1", Mobley's 6'11". Mobley's more of a big. Allen does have some girth to him, but the problem is Allen's just so one-dimensional offensively. That's what I'm saying. You got to get a three, and it can't be Isaac Okoro because Isaac Okoro couldn't score. A guy that actually would probably make sense for you guys would be Dylan Brooks.
There's been a lot of talk about him.
There's a lot of talk because Memphis came out and said, we're not signing you under any spot. But basically, circumstances, yes. There's no chance we're re-signing you.
And I'm like, do you think it has anything to do with him running his mouth? Do you think that decision was kind of already made, or do you think that kind of pushed him in that direction? Because he ran his mouth, and then they got fucking smoked.
I think the question was, why do you run your mouth during a series? I'm going to run my mouth. I'm going to run my mouth when the series is over. I'm not going to run my mouth to basically motivate the other team.
Yeah.
Because motivation, they're going to be motivated anyway, but you really get motivated when someone's like, you can't do this or you can't do that or whatever. So, Embiid's done absolutely nothing so far this game. Paul Reed's got more points than Embiid, and he's played 12 seconds.
He ran his mouth, and then they got smoked, and he looked like a fool.
But there was always going to be – this is like they don't have any size. JJ's the only guy they have size, and JJ couldn't handle Davis because he's not strong enough to be able to do that. And then Ja had that one really good game, and Bane, for the most part, is a solid player. Brooks is not what he used to be. That's the only question with it. Brooks is not the guy that people remember 3 years ago where he carried Memphis throughout the playoffs before Ja, and he was able to get those points. And he's not that guy. He's a 10 to 15-point guy. Buddy Hield would make a whole lot of sense for you guys if you could somehow get Buddy Hield away from Indianapolis. Yeah. That would be the kind of guy I would look for. I would look for a three that could stretch the field because – and then the other thing, you got to learn how to play high-low. See, Mobley's got to be able to hit that shot right at the free throw line, extend it, and make an arc all the way around it. Because then you can give the ball to Mobley at the free throw line and still have Allen on the low post or the baseline extended and still be able to give Mobley room to move, or he can dump off to Allen or anything of that nature. But if he could just get that shot into his repertoire, that's going to change the whole team's dynamics. Right now, Mobley sits on the three-point line, and I'm sorry, I'll let him shoot 20 times. He might make one. He might make two. Yeah. That's going to be the worst I'm going to do. And one, he's not even going to take most of the shots anyway. He always takes the ball and distributes. So he's not involved enough offensively. Mitchell really had to come to play, and maybe Mitchell was hurt. He had a lot of wear and tear on that. Garland looked great. Kind of figure that, but to me, you can get a better three. You move Okoro to the bench. You tell Okoro, okay, you're going to prove yourself. When you're in here, you got the green light. You don't have that six-man that can get points. Karis LeVert's the closest thing you got, but there's not a way in the hell I'm paying $20 million for Karis LeVert in what he is now. You're seeing the same thing with Phoenix because everyone's like, Phoenix has no bench. I remember when Ross and Warren were awesome off the bench.
Right.
And they were complete scorers. But whether it's coaching, whether it's role, whether it's combination, those guys right now don't know what to do off the bench. So But that's the part where you got to go like, you got to find out what's there. But I'm not paying $20 million for Karis LeVert
Well,
to score every other game.
And maybe this is not correct, but I think they kind of overachieved a little bit in the regular season from what people kind of thought it would be. I think they were thought to be a playoff team, but they weren't. I don't know that they were thought to be that they were going to end up being the third or fourth best team in the East. But obviously they've got some good things that happen, and they got some stuff to work on. So, they're definitely better off than they were 2 years ago.
Your issue is you're really depending on C.D. Osman right now to lead that second unit, and he's a good outside 3-point shooter, but he's not when he has to facilitate.
Yeah,
he's not a facilitator in any way, shape, function, or form.
And to say, everybody looks at what Kevin Love is doing right now, and they're like, "Oh, we sure could have used Kevin Love." And it's like, yeah, if I had a freaking crystal ball, I'd be a billionaire, right? Like, if you can say for certain that you could plug Kevin Love into this team and he would do what he's doing in Miami, I think you're a liar, because I don't think you can say that for certain, because he was on this team and he wasn't doing that.
So are you going to be able to – the problem is your practical cap space sucks. Your practical cap space is $5 billion.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to figure out some ways to handle. The other thing is who have you guys drafted? You drafted Mobley a couple of years ago, but other than that, there's nobody on the roster that was like –
they haven't had any picks, or they traded them. Two of the guys went to Utah for Mitchell, Obagi, and I don't remember who else.
Obagi got traded to Mitchell, but he's the only guy that's actually listed as traded.
He was our pick last year. He was the first one, I think.
Which, that's the question. You got a practical cap space of $5 million.
Yeah.
That's why, personally, I would try to find someone to take Jared Allen. The problem is it's not a hard time looking around the league on big centers. One, teams don't want to play them because their ability to guard pick and roll. If you're just going to have a defensive center, it's tough to find a home for that guy right now.
Right.
That's where you look at. I was like, one guy's like, Rudy Gobert gives nothing on the offense. I go, the guy gets 14 points every game.
Yeah.
14 points isn't anything. For what he's doing defensively, 14 points is fine.
Yeah.
It's 14 points and 10 points. He's a 14 and 10 guy all game. And the guy's like, no, he doesn't. I was like, I bet him over 13 and a half every time it's there. When they move it to 14 and a half, I don't bet it. But at 13 and a half, I bet it. It's all the time. You'll be shocked at how much he actually scores. The other issue you've got, Detroit's got 3 centers. They're trying to give one away. But that's why I think you could if you could find someone to take Jared Allen, like, it would make sense in the problem is his cap number. His number is so big. Like, quite frankly, under a different contract, he makes a lot of sense in Dallas. He makes a lot of sense in Golden State. But at $20 million plus for 3 more years, that's a little tough. It's a tougher sell. I don't know what they do. They've got to make a move, and to make a move, they're going to have to get rid of somebody.
Obviously,
the other move you would get killed for would be moving Mobley. If you got a really good haul for Mobley. But then that was the question of, well, you had to trade away one of the guys you get to reacquire your 6 picks that you gave up.
Oh, they drafted his brother last year. He was in the
Yes.
G League. I don't think he ever made the big team.
He played.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah, he was
Yep.
one of their draft picks, I think, last year.
Big 3 by Marcus Smart. That's what we needed. Let's go. Let's get these 10 points. He's got 5. He's got 3 rebounds already, too. So we only need one more rebound from Marcus Smart the rest of the game. He always gets his rebounds in Boston. He didn't do a game 1. So most of the time, I can't say always since he didn't hit in game 1. But it's a big 3 here. And Boston's up 6 with 30 seconds to go. And it's 22-26. So we haven't got the 50 points yet. So our under.
What do you think the game 2s? We come back with Toronto and Dallas. Toronto and Dallas on the game 2s.
I'm not touching anything in the Florida thing. I'll probably touch the over 1.5 first period. That's what I'll touch.
Both of those teams probably win, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Lose the first game.
So I think Toronto's going to be a long series. So I
Well,
could
the thing
definitely
was,
Marcus Smart.
for the first game of the first series, the away teams were 11-3.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw it in the first round too.
Yeah. So
what was it? I think Minnesota actually won that. Minnesota actually won the Stars' first game in the last series.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Minnesota, they came back. So I do expect Dallas. Dallas has the better goaltending. I do expect that to come back. Marcus Smart ends the first quarter with 8 points. So we need 2 more points from Marcus Smart. And then who'd we pair him up with? Who'd we pair him up with? Oh, Harris for 12.5. Let's see what Harris is doing. I don't know if he's got. Oh, he scored the first basket. Harris scored that first basket. Woo! So, all right. Well, Smart's looking good, though. Harden's the leading scorer. Embiid's got 6 points. Reed's got 1 rebound, 1 assist. Boston takes care of the basketball. Essentially has no steals given up there, and Horford has the only steal of the game. So we shall see. Blocks. The Celtics have 4 blocks already. Brogdon's got 1. Williams has got 1. Horford's got 1, and Tatum's got 1. Tatum's got 2 assists, so we're looking good for our assist prop there. So Brown's got 13 points, 5 of 6 from the floor. Tampa Bay putting on more runs, 7-1. We lose the first 5. All right, we lose the first 5. The Angels are up 2-1. They also got a couple runners on. Ohtani's 2 for 2. He's got the first RBI. Hunter Renfro's up. 2 men, 2 out, full count. Man on first and third. The great Hunter Renfro versus the Raleigh Fingers lookalike in Miles Mikolas. He's growing the stash.
If Seattle loses tonight, I might just throw this laptop.
What, the Mariners?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Gilbert versus Sears. I mean, it's not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed in baseball. But
I looked at that game. I don't know. The A's are tricky, man.
The A's suck. They have 6 wins. What are they tricky with?
Well, because they can keep games close. So a lot of times, and they can score runs sometimes.
Yeah, Rooker's played really well. Esor Ruiz is starting to come on really well. I'm actually trying to find the spot.
I wonder where Rooker came from. The Padres.
Was it Kemp? Kemp, I think, is pretty good too.
Yeah, but Kemp gets hurt all the time.
Um,
All right, so we get a single and it's 3-1 Angels.
I thought it was. Do they still have Robert Pawson? The A's.
I think so.
Why hasn't he been up? Like who could possibly be keeping him in the minors? He was a pretty highly touted prospect like a year or two, like 2 years ago. Probably.
He was for the Reds, yes. Yep.
I took
I think he was on the Reds.
Luke Voigt
on the
over one run or over a hit run RBI over a half a runner.
He was on the Reds in my Major League Baseball the show.
Let's see. Oakland.
I gotta see what he's batting in the minors. I know he had a thing where he was like all speed and couldn't make contact with the ball.
Yeah, so I've got Seattle. Let's see. Seattle.
Yeah, he's not coming up anytime soon. Robert Pawson was considered a high-end top prospect, and then his first year in Stockton, he batted .215. That was low A. It was A ball. Then they demoted him, and he went to the Toros, and he batted 91.
They should probably trade him to a better team.
And then they went to Stockton in 2022, single A. He batted 185. They set him down to rookie ball, and he got his average to 260. So now he's back. Now he's back in Stockton, but he's batting 122. He's not. He's done. He's not a prospect anymore.
Well, they either have to bring him up or they got to cut him loose.
Not yet.
I mean, they only can hold him for so many years.
Well, until he goes to the Rule 5 draft, yeah. No one's putting that guy on your roster for an entire year.
No. So the reason why I didn't like that game was because I've got Seattle 24th against left-handed pitching, so not good. But I also have the A's. Let's see, Seattle's bullpen second right now, and the A's bullpen dead last. So Seattle full game would be the angle there. I'm assuming that's what you took, yes?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, that would be.
I'm also taking Sears and Sears success. Celtics up to an 11-point lead, not 9-point lead, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, when I do, numbers, they're you have to take into consideration the actual guys that's pitching. It's not just lefty versus righty. It's, not every righty is the same. Not every lefty is the same.
Correct. So, it's not a Cy Young. It's not a Cy Young candidate here. It's a guy to go join Robert Paulson.
Yeah, it's different righties and different lefties kind of demand different. It's mostly for the middling guys.
Yep. My favorite words I love to hear. JP Sayers looks to right the ship tonight. Yep. That's all I need to know.
Considering that Oakland couldn't even score a run, even though that their pitcher was no hitting the other team for 6 innings.
Yeah. Dude's on my team. Couldn't even get me a win.
I still got to tell you, losing with Trey Turner of all guys to strike out on his last at bat.
If you didn't tell me that, I never would have known. So thanks, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I don't know. This fantasy baseball thing isn't as fun as I thought it was going to be.
There is a lot to. Well, one, I hate this league. I really think.
You made it.
No, I hate the league. I hate the website. I hate Fantrax in itself. If we had to not find two just guys to play,
Yeah, that's the problem. If we
That's
could have
the
done it on
thing.
any other platform,
Let me put it
we
this way:
needed
I
a
would have
full
took
week.
sleeper over this. I mean, some of the moves and the adjustments that you have to do. So you have, because we have illegal rosters, not allowed. You have to, like, if you only have 9 pitchers and one of your guy goes on IR, and I've been talking to FanDuel for 3 days, Fantrax for 3 days with this. If you want to move that guy to IR, it tells you have an illegal roster because you have too many guys, nobody in pitching. If you want to try to pick up a guy, you can't move the guy to IR in the pickup screen.
Yep.
I said, it's the dumbest thing to do. I said, I was going to put a thing out there. I was like, if anybody has a legal move of like that, just let me know and I'll do the move as the commissioner.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what you need
legal
to
roster
do.
for a minute.
Yeah, because I can't do
Yeah.
nothing right now. I'm pretty much stuck.
Yeah, that's what you
So
need to do. Like we have to let you do it.
Yeah, I was trying to move my guy. I was like, I can put this guy at IR. I can switch this other guy at IR. And I was like, wait, no, still same issue. Can't, no, can't, nope, same. No, this is stupid. I'm just going to see if I can do the move. So JP Sears, who's going tonight, pitched 4 innings last time, 4 1/3. I'll give him his third. He had 6 earned runs. He had 4 Ks. The game before, that was a loss.
Who did he pitch against? Who was that against?
Angels.
Angels are hot. Angels aren't Seattle right now. But anyway, go on.
You're right. Texas. He pitched really well. 6 innings, 4 earned runs. Had 11 Ks.
Damn.
Mets, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Had 3 Ks. More than normal. Baltimore, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. 4 Ks. Cleveland, 4.2. 3 earned runs. The lowest outing Seattle year, he gave up 2 runs. So I expect Seattle get 2 runs. And the lowest thing was hits was 3 by Baltimore. So I expect him to get hit around. 13-4. We got a bunch of tie games. Any live thing you like here?
I
Cleveland
like the
Yankees.
Cubs. I'm waiting though.
We're waiting to the end of the inning.
Yeah.
Got a man
Oh
on
no.
first. We get a better number now if we take it now.
Hold on. I'm looking at this.
But
Seattle
they actually have a chance to like do something.
I like the Twins. It's 4-4.
Oh, God.
You got a
We're taking
huge
them over the White-
advantage.
We're taking them over the White Sox again.
Dude, the White Sox are terrible.
White Sox killed me last night
I'm
on walk off. I got walked off by 3 games yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, Twins were my favorite play yesterday, and they like honestly, that's the only reason why I didn't bet the Twins yesterday because they burned me so bad, or today because they burned me so bad yesterday.
So JP Sears total earned runs 2.5, 105 plus 105.
Oh, I would take that. I don't get those kind of bets, but I would take that.
What's the weather? They're in Oakland, right?
It's raining, or it was yesterday. My cousin was
Yeah.
up there. Let me double check right now.
Yeah, when I'm doing totals and stuff, a lot of times I check the weather.
Yeah,
Light rain, cloudy, cool, 55 degrees.
Yeah, that sounds about a normal day.
It's Oakland. The ball's not going out of the park anyway.
Yeah, keep it
Yeah. All right, so you've got the Sixers down 8. That was a really lazy play to get a foul, but it worked. Second quarter, we did get some more scoring that's coming in. I mean, we got 26 points already. Not exactly what we're looking for. I mean, it's live is all the way back up to 215 already. Hey, Harris finally makes a basket. And they cut it to 6. Good job. All right. Harris has got 6. That's all we need. Let's go. What's up, MT13? What's up? What's up? Luke Voigt. When's Luke Voigt play? Who's he
already
playing?
too late. He's playing right now.
Nothing's already too late.
He's in Coors.
Oh, he's playing. Oh, who's on the Brewers?
Yeah.
Okay. They went 0 for 3 to start that the game.
Yeah, they did a horrible.
No. And your Guardians and Yankees, the great thing, you guys are the greatest under team ever. You two show up versus the Yankees without Judge, without Stanton. Everybody just pitches around Rizzo and says, fine, I'll pitch to Wilson Calhoun, who, by the way, went yard today. But, yeah, I mean, this is Jake Bauers.
Jake Bauer? He's still playing?
Well, according to this Jake Bauers has only been in the league for 2 years.
Oh, must be a different guy.
Yeah. So,
yeah, they've got some major pitching issues with just getting guys healthy, getting healthy arms. It is nice that they're bringing up all the young guys and they're fucking dealing. Like, these kids are crazy.
yeah, your offense isn't. Your offense is the greatest thing ever. I'd just take the under. I don't care, except for 4. I don't care. Take the 4.5.
Well, I mean, but the other thing is, it's been raining and freaking cold for like 2 weeks, dude. Like, this is not over weather.
It's in New York. Yes, I know.
What's the temperature and what's the rain? I know it's raining because it was raining here. It's been raining for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so your lineup's got your leading lineup guys. Ramirez is only batting 288. Jimenez, who I've been contemplating dropping. By the way, I tried to drop Kyle Schwarber and it told me he was undroppable. I said he's batting
really?
Go ahead and drop.
I said he's batting 205.
Man, I would love to have Kyle Schwarber on my team when it gets hot there. When it gets hot in Philly.
Okay. He's batting 1. Okay, they offered me a trade offer. I'll probably accept it. I was looking for a space.
No, I don't need any hitters. I need freaking pitchers.
Harper went 3 for 3 today. That's got to be nice for boxing.
They still freaking lost.
Yeah, that's because they have no pitching.
Yeah.
Royals score again. There's Kyle Gibson. He's dealing.
He's on my team.
Yep, giving up hit after hit. Royals threatening here.
Chris Bryant hit 301. Wow.
Who was it? Vinny Pasquantino. So Pasquantino is 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. More runs for Tampa Bay. They score 8-1 now. They're trying to get the over by themselves. Pasquantino single-handedly is trying to beat G's team. Who plays Bob this week?
I played him last week.
Not me.
I'm
playing one of the new guys.
They're both very good.
They're very good. That might have been a mistake.
I will flat out tell you, though, I look at my roster, and my roster is an all-star team, so I don't know how sometimes I'm losing.
Dude, that's the same thing that I did. I looked at my team, and I'm like, holy shit, this team is freaking stacked. How am I losing? What? Like, I would normally invest a ton of time trying to figure it out. After the first couple of weeks, I was so frustrated where I'm just like, all right, dude, whatever. I don't know.
I sat there and said, okay, I'm gonna have 2 guys for every category. If I got stolen bases, I got 2 guys for stolen bases. If I got holds, I had to change some players. I made some trades. Part of the whole trade with Bob was to eliminate guys because in my heart of hearts, I couldn't look at solid guys and just drop them. It took me so much to drop Eloy Jimenez. It took me so much. I was like, he's still batting 200. He's getting hurt every other day. They're even telling me he has bad knees. I'm like, and I still can't drop him. And I was like, finally I said, I got to drop him. And I just sat there and said, I'm just looking at every category. I need some guys for holds. I need some guys for to get saves. I need I really took a hard look at strikeouts, and I said, yeah, it's great that guys are picking up guys left and right. Those guys are losing strikeouts every week. The more guys you play, the way the league is, you're going to lose strikeouts.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. That's what I've noticed. It actually works against you almost to have a full lineup every day if you're starting guys that are not performing well. Like
unless your guy comes had a home run, runs, and RBIs, it was like it didn't make sense for you to play him
because they kill you. They kill you with strikeouts and they kill you with batting average. And shitty pitchers kill you with the ERA and the WHIP and stuff like that. Like it's like it's the craziest thing. Like you're almost better to just have like an incomplete roster with just your best players.
Yep.
Like you basically take your best players and start them. And I mean, maybe that's the strategy. I don't know. Like I said, I was so frustrated after the first 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, I don't freaking know. Like maybe I'll figure this out.
There's like 26 weeks. You can't get upset. The whole game changes as soon as it gets hotter.
I know.
You can't just get frustrated strictly just on that. So, yeah.
I know. Well, I'm not used to not doing well in fantasy. Like I'm used to doing pretty well, especially with something like this. So that's why I said those two guys that we brought in, they obviously know their shit, or they've got an angle or something that they're playing.
Yeah, they definitely have an angle who's playing. I was trying to see if someone's taking advantage of the pitching innings pitched, because I don't think you can because of the way our reserve rule works. You can't take guys out, so you have to be really, really interesting of how to take guys out so your guys aren't pitching.
Yeah.
Because it would shoot out a legal roster. All the time. So that's why I was like, I'm going to trade 3 guys for 2 strictly so I can have an extra spot and I could go pick up guys. Like right now, I'm still running Taj Bradley. Bradley's not going to pitch at all. But I went out and I got some middle relievers, and the problem is the 2 middle relievers I got became the closers. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Okay. Well, I don't have anybody for holds. So I've tried to I've looked at RBIs more. Okay, this guy's have RBIs. He's hitting well, but you've got to be giving me something that the other guys aren't. So,
well, I got into Fangraphs and I went into the advanced metrics and started to trying to find the guys that were like, getting deep into the stats, the hard contact, the barrels, getting like deep into those hitting stats and stuff like that, and trying to find guys that way. And I still have to do it with pitching just to see like if I can kind of get an advantage that way. Like I use Fangraphs for making my bets, but I'm just doing team stats. This I'm trying to like dive deep on the player stuff. I don't know. It's been a frustrating couple weeks.
What's up, Bob? We are humbling Rich tonight. That's pretty much what we've discovered. Rich is humbled by fantasy baseball. He's trying to basically tell us he's going to be ready for fantasy football. Razor about to start again.
I'm not humbled. I'm not used to not doing well, and
that's humbled.
Not taking it great, but I'll figure it out. I won't give up. I won't give up. Never surrender.
I hope not. It's May.
No.
The season goes to October.
No. Even on fantasy football, when I've got a really, really bad team, I'm still hitting that waiver wire. I'm still out there trying to freaking knock dudes out of the playoffs, mostly because most of my leagues that I play fantasy football in, at least my 2 or 3 other ones besides you guys, are guys that we just talk a bunch of trash. So it's always good to like knock somebody out of the playoffs or whatever.
I'm going to pause you right there. We've got bases loaded for the Red Sox. If you get the Red Sox at plus 120, down 1 run, 2 outs, bases loaded. Do we take a nibble?
Take the over.
Well, I'm already on the over.
Is Manoah still in?
Who's pitching? Let me see. Manoah's still in. Yep. 3-2. He's running into some issue. He hit the last batter. Devils. He had 2 men on, and Devers fouled out.
Watch.
Yeah, it's Manoa's up
I
to
just
90.
watched the beer being filled by the bottom at the
Yep.
Carolina game. That was pretty dope.
Oh yeah,
Well, Bob,
that's the no foam cup.
Yep.
They
Bob,
put
you got
the
a
cup on the thing and fill it from the
back.
bottom.
No foam cup, huh?
Yep.
Yep. Bob, you get Bryce Harper back. That should be interesting. How that helps your team.
Yeah, I don't know how you got him back so quick. Jeez, if we would have known that.
Yeah, freaking
one run
recovery from Tommy John in history.
tie ball game. Red Sox.
So
Red Sox.
The only thing I don't like about that is Toronto's bullpen is actually really good. I don't know if they're taxed. I have Toronto's pen number 1 right now. Last 2 weeks, and Boston's 25. So
Yeah, but Toronto gave up some runs last night, and I love this Toronto Boston. I think Boston overs.
Yeah. It depends on like I like the over. I like the over. That's why I like that pregame. That's why I liked. That's why I went through and took that's why I did my single game parlay on that game.
Nats take the lead on the Cubs 2-1. St. Louis gets one back 3-2. Trying to take away this first 5 from the Angels. Right, we've got Boston on a nice little run here. Cut it to 12. I mean, not cut it to 12. Stretched it to 12. Philly only has 38 points with 4 minutes left in the second quarter. That's not good. Beautiful shot from Maxey. Turn, spin. Atlanta adds another run, 14-6. Okay, I don't think it had any clue what sport is in. Right now, my sport says Boston's got a single, a double, and a single. And I think they just tacked on some more runs. Yeah, Valdez saved for their first baseman's Guerrero fielding error. Duran and Turner scored. Cassis the third, 5-3 Boston. Still need some more runs.
There's my Red Sox team total over. It's 4.5.
Yep, live total is 11.5 right now. So you can hedge, but right now Boston's minus 1.5, minus 150. Toronto's plus 120.
I wonder why they left Manoah in.
Toronto's lost 2 in a row to the Red Sox. Well, that wasn't Manoah's problem. That was Guerrero's fault.
Yeah, on that play.
Yeah, but I mean, you're only in the 5th inning. That's why you left Manoah in. He's still under 100 pitches. I mean, I know you're saying they have a great bullpending, but I couldn't.
Well, I'm saying I wonder why they left him in. Maybe their bullpen's got worked.
Well, it was 6-7. The last couple of games for them was 5-6 on Monday, 6-7 last night.
Damn, the Cardinals stole that real quick. Ohtani just gave up butt cheeks.
Yep, they just gave up there. They're up 4-3.
Oh.
You know, his earned run total was 1.5.
He's had 2 straight outings where he's given up some runs here.
Yeah, definitely.
And beat inside since that 12. Philly's gone on a 6-0 run here. What are we looking at? I get on the total in this game.
What time does this hockey game start? 6:30?
9:30. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably. They've been pushing them back until the other game.
Oh,
hasn't even.
It'll be 9:50.
Maxey almost got a steal.
So what? I'm on the Twins. I took that.
And beat us 5 blocks.
What else did I take?
Royals score again. 3-0. Not going to be Baltimore's night. Red Sox moved the runners over, second and third.
Yeah, there was a reason I didn't like a lot on the baseball board today. Because a lot of these teams that I liked are not doing well.
Another miss by Smart. Smart, by the way, was our first.
What time it is? What time it is? What time it is? It's time to go. Ring that, ring that, ring that bell. Ring that, ring that, ring that bell. Ring that, ring that, ring that bell. Ring that bell. It's time to go. Ring that bell.
All right, Smart over 3.5 rebounds, cashes in the second quarter, which means it's time to put my foot back in the water. Let's see if it's going to be realistic. I might have to wait till halftime. I hit 3 in a row last night in double dipping. We were hitting Looney and AD's rebounds over and over again. We hit 13, we hit 17, we hit 19, and we hit 22 and a half. Cash for Looney. AD, we went to 17 and we went to 19. He cashed as well. Forget who else was betting that with me. I think it was Bob. All right, Embiid misses a free throw. I'm trying to see what we got here for Smart and rebounds because it's still on the floor. Wait till halftime. That's not bad. Actually, I'll take that again. We're going to give a live play. Tail as you want. Smart over 5.5 rebounds. It's asking, can he get 2 more rebounds? I'm getting that at minus 120. I like my chances. Bob, I like your team. Team's done well. Basically, the 5 guys I told you to pick up, and then you pick up a bunch of guys in the Atlanta minor league. It'll be interesting, though, with Harris back. That's going to hurt you a little bit. Yeah, points are going up this quarter. Still going to be about 104, probably the first half. Kick out Derek White. Derek White drills the 3. And the Celtics are back up 10. And Smart just got his 5th rebound, so I hope you picked up on that. So now we just need him to get 1 more rebound.
There you go.
I need 11 more from Harden, 12 more from Harden. You took Harden's points, I would have took it there. And B just walks in and dunks it. Cuts it to 8. Celtics keep him at a distance. We got 8 points. We're all right. Marcus Smart going off tonight. 13 points for Smart in the first half. We need Harris to continue to come on. I knew Smart was going to have a big game today. Got Harris and Melton just sitting next to each other. Harden dribbling the ball down. See what happens here. Harden misses the 3, goes to Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris gets the rebound. He comes in, and he's Tobias Harris. That's 8. Let's go. Right on pack. Let's go. We need 5 more from Harris now because we already hit Smart. Boom. All right, halftime's 49-57. So 106 points is your halftime. Right now the live total is 211, so we've got a 5-point cushion. So if you want to take the second half over, you can if you want. Boston only ends up getting the 2 runs, so they're up 5-3. The Angels are up now in the top of the 5th, down 1. We've got the heart of the order up here. You've got Neto, Trout, and Ohtani down 1. Let's see what can happen. Got Minnesota still tied with Chicago 4-4. And the Orioles have not decided to play tonight. And New Jersey's still down 1. The live rebound prop was 5.5. It's probably 6.5 now, which is what I'm going to take. I'm definitely going to be looking at the second half stuff. I love Smart's At 6.5 right now, minus 105. So I'm going to double dip because my idea was for him to get 2 rebounds in the second half. He still has to get 2 rebounds in the second half. So I like my chances. I'm going to double dip. You do what you want. It's minus 105 if you want to follow me on the double dip. If we look at the thing, Harden's rebound assists are only at 3. Harden actually has 9 rebounds in the first half. Not a massive rebounder, though.
Right?
And they want you to, they're begging you, and they're making sure people don't take it. Minus 1.5. That's Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, 6.5 rebounds. Minus 105. They just took a rebound away from Tobias Harris. They gave the rebound too. Oh, they gave the rebound to Harden. So they gave Harden double-double already. That would have been great if you took the rebound prop and then they just readjusted it and gave you the extra rebound. But you having to do anything. They took Harden off the board. Smart's got 13 and 5. So I need him to get 1 more rebound for the 5.5 and then 2 more rebounds for the 6.5. Tatum's right there. He's got 3 assists. So we're on pace. Jaylen Brown is your leading scorer at 16. Brogdon's your second leading scorer at 10. After Smart. Brogdon's got 4 rebounds. He just doesn't play enough. And all my stuff's off the board. All right, Bob's telling me. He believes in me. I believe I can fly. Royals tacking on a couple more. Gibson doing great. Down 5-0. I don't think Gibson's still pitching, though. No, he is still pitching. He's only at 74 pitches in the 7th. But he's given up 5 earned runs. Garcia hit a sacrifice fly. Kyle Isbell hit a double. Bobby Witt, Rich's favorite player, hit a triple. And it's 5-0 Royals.
Of course he did.
All right, Angels get 1 on, 1 out. Shohei Ohtani's up. Trout was hit by the pitch by Miles Mikolas. Ohtani's got a 2-2 count. We need him to go yard.
Oh, shoot. It was Muncy that hit the grand slam. He better be in my lineup today. Okay, good.
So, all right, that game that Dallas or whatever for Texas had 8 RBIs. He was sitting on my bench.
Oh, man.
Wait, you're looking
Who,
like,
Garcia?
Yeah, it's Dallas Garcia. Yep. I was like, great.
He leads the league in RBI. He's got 31.
Yep. And Devers is right behind him at 27, but he's batting .220. All right, so we were being real nice to D for most of the night. How does D feel? Like I told you with the Warriors game, here's my question with the Warriors. You went on an 8-0 run making threes and long-range shots. That's the only thing that's going to be open. Then you did the smart play. You went inside to try to get the layup, and Ohtani pops out the shortstop, and I don't know how that ends the inning. But I guess Trout was off the base. No, it's not ending the inning. That's their screw-up. Ohtani pops out the shortstop, and then Rendon is out. Okay, that's how it is. That ends the inning. First 5, Angels loses.
Awesome. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Thanks, Ohtani, you fucking bastard. Really helped us.
I have what the world was. The Warriors do the right thing. They drive inside, and AD blocks them without even jumping.
Yeah.
It was like, why didn't you just pull up at 10 foot and just shoot the little shot and take AD out of the picture? Or the only way you're going to win in the end of the game with the Lakers that close, if they're going to allow AD to sit in an illegal defense, is you have to hit outside shots. And you hit outside shots to get yourself back in the game. And then you went away from the outside shots under a minute left. I'm so torn because it's the right play to do, but it's the wrong play if you're just going to have a big guy standing 6 inches from the goal. He's not guarding anybody. You had 3 Lakers there and 1 Dubs player there.
Right.
It should have been 3 seconds. And you should have been shooting free throws. And like, if I was Steve Kerr, I would be on their ass, the refs, all night to say, look, he's not guarding anybody. And they're doing the same thing in Miami series. So Miami's switching everything. What ends up is you have a guard on Bam. This is what happened at the end of the night. Josh Hart basically was matched up with Bam. Josh Hart did the right thing. He ran over the 3-point line because Bam's not going to leave the paint. And that's how he got the 2 corner threes. Because there's not a chance in hell Bam's going to leave the paint. The fact that he's supposed to actually reset out of the paint after 3 seconds, but he's not. And both teams make it basically an outside jump shooting game. That's how the Knicks are struggling because they can't get anything inside. And the Knicks are not a great outside shooting team. So, I mean, the whole point of defense at 3 seconds is so you didn't have Bill Russell and Shaq just sitting in the lane going, you guys aren't scoring inside. We'll take you to a jump shooting game. All right. Let's see. The line is we're at 8 points. Celtics are -1. And if you want to hedge, you could hedge the second half right at the 8 if you wanted to. But that's up to you. I mean, that's the thing that's just pissing me off so much watching these games is everyone's like, oh, they can't score. Look at the defense they're playing. They're an illegal defense. This is why it's not called in the regular season. If you're going to allow teams to do that, you just can't score anything inside. And it becomes a great jump shooting contest, which is the most boringest game to watch. No offense. I know you love the Warriors shooting threes. Like they act like they invented the 3. But if my game's going to be JaMychal Green shooting outside shots or trying to watch RJ Barrett shoot an outside 3, that's just disgusting.
Right. Oh, man, if we can't stop the interior offense, defense, we're not going to win this series.
I mean, the whole game's going to be can you hit 3s when they're hitting 2s.
Which is fine. That's been our game for 5 years.
It is, but you can't allow them to go to the free throw line 25 more times.
I totally agree. Like I said, if we can't stop them in the inside, nobody gets. I don't know. It's a rough series, man. We got nobody to stop.
The Lakers got calls, but the Lakers got calls because they were driving inside.
Right.
You guys are shooting your strip. I mean, I know you guys are so wishy-washy on Jordan Poole, but someone should have grabbed him by the jersey and said, okay, you made a 3 off a pin down 3 standing right at the 3-point line. This is like in the second quarter. Then you decided to come around a screen at the top of the key, had to be 10 yards from or 10 feet away from the 3-point line. And you shot a 3 with like 18 seconds on the shot clock. And you bricked it bad. And you're like, oh, it's a heat check. Who cares? It's a 25-footer.
Right.
Whether you hit that once or you hit that there doesn't mean you're going to hit that all the time. The NBA playoffs is about efficiency. The teams that make plays win. If your goal was to hit a 25-footer, I'll give you that. I'll back off 10 feet. That's why you're wide open. It's not because you're a great shooter that no one is guarding you. It's the world's greatest screen. They were like, you're stupid enough to attempt that shot.
Yep.
If you hit it, more power to you. And even the last shot, it's the right shot from a 3-point perspective. There's no reason for him to be 5 feet from the 3-point line.
He could have moved up for 2 more feet. And, you know.
And his percentages increased by 7%.
Yep.
And that's what the name of the game is. AD is going to score at will. It's hilarious. The rebounding prop already on AB is 15. And Looney's is 14. And you know what? I've already bet him. Looney's the one I'm a little more worried about because Looney's was really speared by a 6.6 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. If you take the 6 offensive rebounds in the first quarter away, he had a 16-point prop, which is
I think
still
he
very
averages about 6 in the first quarter. So
well. Not from offensive rebounds though.
no, but he averages about 6 in the first
Correct.
quarter, like every game.
That was the one where you got to look and you were like, ugh. So there's a lot of soccer bets that I'm doing like over 1.5, and I'm taking those with Looney at 13 and AD at 14. Not even worried about the game. Not even worried about his wins. I do think you guys will come out. And again, this kind of goes to the Game 7 thing. Are you more tired after Game 7 to come back? The Lakers were kind of rested. We always kind of seen that this was going to be there. I think you got to play Kuminga more. You need a little more size on the floor, and some athleticism to be able to play. And again, Draymond Green was just an ass. I mean, he's absolutely 100% lucky he didn't get tossed that game. He should have got tossed. He got the tee, and then he kept on going at the ref. Any other player in the league is teed up again, and that's it. Almost looked like he was like, I want to be tossed. So, what is your guys' books have Denver 4-1?
Denver 4-1.
Yeah, series. So I think the Suns get 1 in Phoenix. And they might get 1 in Phoenix strictly because Denver relaxes. It is going to be interesting to watch AD versus Jokic. Potentially. I gave him potentially in there. There's still a chance. You guys aren't dead yet.
Plus 250.
I would take the 4-1. Throw a Coke bet, throw whatever you want to bet on it, but I would take 4-1. I don't think this thing gets past 5.
Hurricane score.
Okay. I thought it was going to be the other way around. You were going to tell me they scored.
No, we got somebody working on the house, so it's kind of loud right now.
All right. So, Rich, what do you think about your Browns draft? Rich there?
What do you think about Baltimore's draft?
I think there's 2 guys they got, which I like. You know, obviously I'm not a Baltimore fan, but I love the Zay Flowers pick. We all know that. We watched me freaking get pissed last weekend. I know Rich says he doesn't like Zay Flowers, but I think he's gonna really hate that from the Browns' perspective. The pickup of Simpson was a guy the Bucks were looking at in the second round. So the value of getting Simpson where they got him was extremely well. Because I know, quite frankly, the Bucks were thinking about looking at him as a linebacker of choice in the second round. Red Sox tack on another run. They got 2 men on at 6-3. Toronto doesn't want to see the Red Sox anymore. Let me actually look at the full Baltimore draft. I'll be honest, I don't remember everyone's draft. So getting Simpson in the 3rd is good value. Tavius Robinson, I think, is a reach. Kai Blue Kelly, okay, not a great player. The offensive lineman from Oregon, I really liked. So I think he'll be a solid guy. He'll be a guy that they'll bring up in 2 years, and he'll play the guard when he plays. So
What do you give him a letter grade?
I mean, I don't think you can grade a draft till 2 years afterwards.
I
So I
agree.
really think you want to grade a draft, you're looking at a draft in 2021. The other question is each team doesn't basically build up talent the same way. Baltimore has a tendency to build up talent. I mean, their offensive linemen that they pick late in the draft, Cedric Bozeman, they've got a steady stream of guys that end up being starters and then taking more bigger money elsewhere because they know they don't care because they can go draft another guy or there's another guy in the pipeline that's going to be there. Cedric Bozeman was the guy for a while. Then last year was the guy that went to Denver. Can't even remember who that was, but where? But I do think that's one going to be Baltimore's biggest Achilles heel is their offensive line this year.
Most definitely.
And you can say you got Ronnie Staley back, and that's great, but you've got Moses, whatever Jones or whatever his name is, on the other side, who's not a very good right tackle. You just lost Ben Powers, that's the guy's name, who it turned into a Pro Bowl guard. So he leaves. Linderbaum is actually from Miami. And he's a solid player, but he's nothing. Whew. Big dunk by Jaylen Brown. You look at the Falcons. I told you Bijan Robinson was going to be drafted by the Falcons. You guys told me I was nuts. We called that.
No, I said he was going to the Falcons too. It was a dumb move, but I knew they were going to make it.
Why do you think it's a dumb move?
They had a guy. I think it's a dumb move because they have a running back that set the rookie record for rushing last year, and they drafted another running back when that team is so freaking needy everywhere else. Like it's like it would be like if the Chiefs moved up and drafted another quarterback. It's like a team that needs everything else.
Yeah.
And has a running back and drafts another running back. I love Bijan and I like the landing spot for him, but it was a bad move by the Falcons for sure.
I disagree with one perspective because here's the thought process I'm going to say, and you may agree or disagree with this, but this is my thought process. If it's how you view Bijan Robinson. If you view him as another guy or an echelon there, I view Bijan Robinson as a generational running back.
Yeah,
Probably
I do too.
But 10 years.
But he's not gonna win you a championship, and he's basically Saquon. There's so many other pieces that they need. They've probably put themselves into a 3 to 5 year rebuild by taking him in that spot.
I don't know. I think
you're probably looking at least 3 years before that team is above 500 again.
I don't know. I think they have a ton of offensive weapons, and they play in a very terrible division.
They do play in a bad division, but have you seen that receiving core? What are they going to do at quarterback?
It's going to be Ritter.
Okay, Ritter sucks. He's not good. He's not a good quarterback.
Okay. It was first year. It's a major step up in competition. Let's give him another year.
Okay, we'll give him another year, but I mean, there are so many other needs that they could have addressed. To see them take a running back, it didn't surprise me at all because they want to run. They want to run every time, like every play they want to run.
Right.
So
that offense is going to look a lot like Baltimore's offense.
Yeah. So every play they want to run. But the problem is that the other team knows that they want to run every play because they have a quarterback who can't throw and they have no receivers. They have Drake London.
And Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a receiver. Yeah. But they have a quarterback who can't throw.
Correct. I mean, but sometimes a run game can help you do that.
Bob, I'm not evaluating him on 4 games in the NFL. I'm evaluating him on what he did in college. He wasn't a passing quarterback in college. That's not his game. And that was at Cincinnati.
Yeah, you had an in and out there by Harden.
I do like Robinson. I like Robinson a lot. I like the landing spot for him. I just think that the Falcons taking him in that spot when they had many other needs that they need to address.
I don't. One, here's the thing: you look at overall rating and grading of who was left. Unless you were going to take Jelani Carter, none of those guys had the same rating.
Could have moved down.
And none of those guys have the rating. You're not getting the player with the same rating. And to me, I think there's another move here by the Falcons. Yes, you have Tyler Algier. Yes, you have Cordell Patterson. Maybe one of them isn't on the roster come September.
I was gonna say Patterson's out. I think. I think Patterson's contract's up. I don't know that they re-signed him. I think. I'm not sure on that.
He's still a member of the team.
Algier was really good last year, and who was the other guy? Caleb something.
Because their offensive line was really good, and I think the Falcons are going to be offensively better than you think. I do question the Desmond Ridder.
But the defense is bad.
The defense was improving. Got a lot of young guys in there. You had Jeffrey Okudo in there. There's some players they picked up. They had some free agencies.
I would be very surprised if the Falcons were above 500 for the next 2, maybe 3 years.
I mean, I think a lot of it's going to depend on Ridder, without a doubt. And I'm not saying Ritter's the answer, and I'm going to say there, but I'm a big person that you take the best available player and you figure it out. I mean, teams that have done that have turned out to be better teams because you didn't just shy away. Ezekiel Elliott, you didn't not take Tony Pollard because you had Ezekiel Elliott. You find ways to get them the ball. That's why I think your Zay Flowers thing is 100% wrong on your observation of Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is the best playmaker other than Robinson in this draft.
I don't believe that for a second.
Zay Flowers is going to be a beast. You're going to watch a lot of Zay Flowers.
Why was Flowers like the 4th wide receiver off the board then?
He was the third wide receiver off the board. The reason is he's 5'9".
Yeah, I don't know. When I look at Flowers, I see Brandon Cooks. I don't know.
Okay, Brandon Cooks was a Pro Bowl wide receiver for a couple of years before he got shipped out.
I mean, if Flowers is going to help my Lamar Jackson, I will gladly take the L on that one. But I didn't really like the Flowers talent.
Bob said it right. You add Bud Dupree to that Falcon defense. You added Kaden Elliss. You still had Grady Jarrett still there. AJ Terrell had a nice year finally when healthy out of Clemson, playing as that first quarter spot. Mike Hughes has been a cornerback on a lot of good teams in Minnesota. You add Jeffrey Okudo to that team. Jesse Bates comes over from Cincinnati. I think the defense is going to be better than you think.
Well, you've got a whole bunch of new pieces, so it's going to be, it's going to be how well they play. But you've also, one thing they have working in their favor is they have a really, really bad division. I mean, you basically got a division of all rebuilding teams. Every team in that division is rebuilding.
The Saints probably not as much.
Well, they got Derek Carr, and I mean,
but that's not a
Kamara's
rebuild. Suspended.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Derek Carr and it's Winston, and Kamara is going to be suspended for probably half the season.
Yeah, but that's why you got Kendre Miller.
Right.
And by the way, they got a steal in A.T. Perry in the 6th round. They got a steal for A.T. Perry. Anybody can win the South. I mean, Carolina can win the South if Bryce Young plays well.
Yeah, I think so too.
They have an
I like
outstanding.
I like what
Uh,
Carolina did. I like what
they lost-
Carolina did. I like who's the wide receiver they drafted? I took him in Dynasty. Mingo. I like that
well,
kid.
we had the talk last time where a lot of people thought Jonathan Mingo might have been the best wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah, I like him a
He's
lot. Big body guy. 6'2", 6'3", 220. It's going to be a nice big target for Young, and they're going to be coming in as rookies, and they'll come in as rookies together, and should have a nice rapport build up for this season. So I
I
like
thought they
that a
did
lot.
very well. The fact they only had 5 picks. I'm not a fan of the Bears draft, even though everybody else is.
They drafted Roshan
I like the
Johnson,
Roshan
the
Johnson
running
pick.
back
I like
from
Roshan Johnson. Yeah, Texas.
yeah
Bijan's the guy who
Texas.
comes in and gets 1,000 yards and 100 yards. I like the Roshan Johnson pick. I like
I
that.
like it too.
The Noah Sewell pick, okay, I think it's a little bit more of a name. I'm interested to see how well he plays. Tyler Scott out of Cincinnati. All these Cincinnati receivers got high ranks, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. I think two or three of the Cincinnati, or two of the wide receivers from Cincinnati went back to back. I think, or almost
Yes,
back to back.
they went right back to back. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know Cincinnati wide receivers. I'm not really sure where that came from, but Zach Charbonnet going to Seattle. Seattle had a hell of a draft. Seattle probably had the best draft of anybody, at least on paper.
Oh, they had a lot of early picks, and they picked
They
well.
made the right moves, though. I think they made the right moves. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
Charbonnet is going to be a nice. Charbonnet will be a nice compliment to Kenneth Walker. There, kind of saps the fantasy value from either one of them, but
Yeah, he
team that
definitely
likes
will
to run the ball, and then they got Njigba, and they got Njigba, who's going to be the probably the Tyler Lockett replacement when his deal's up.
Yep. But that'll be a tough thing to. Oh, cool! We got other free promotional offers from Rumpelstiltskin.
Dim. Yeah.
I will tell you, teams are not going to like the fact that they let Miles Murphy go to Cincinnati at 28. That's going to come back and bite a bunch of teams in the ass.
What about the
Murphy's
what
ready
about
to play.
the tight ends? Like the tight end runs. There was a lot of tight ends went.
Well, the question I really went, what is this thing at Darnell Washington?
His knees are messed up.
Well, I know they said his knees and his size. You had the kind of question with the knees. Big 3. Celtics have pushed it out to 16.
I think he wouldn't. I think he refused to weigh at the combine too. So there was speculation that he was significantly heavier than what he was listed at, which already was like 260 or something. I mean, he is big.
Once you got to the third round, every team should have drafted him.
Yeah, I mean the Steelers took him, and I don't know. I mean, they've got Freiermuth. They're a team that he's a big target for a quarterback who doesn't throw the ball downfield. So I mean, it makes perfect sense for them. They want to run if they want to run kind of like a 11 personnel or whatever, 2 tight ends with him and Freiermuth.
You're gonna have to really get used to this Kyle Pickett train that's happening. Teams are talking about Kyle Pickett as potentially a Pro Bowl quarterback. I was like, well, it's not surprised that Tyler Huntley made it, so they got a good chance. But a lot of people are talking him up already that he could go to the upper echelon. And I'm like,
I will tell you.
Did you think Kyle Pickett was going to the upper echelon?
I was never a Pickett fan. He was I think we kind of both agreed on him. He was a second or a third rounder who was taken in the first out of need. by the Steelers, and he was the hometown guy. But he was bad to start the year. He wasn't supposed to play last season. He ended up getting tossed in there when the Steelers were kind of getting bumped out of it, and he was bad. But he improved. He improved in the back half of the season. I'll definitely give him that. He definitely looked better the last 3 or 4 games of the season. Thing is, they've got a new OC coming in, so they're going to be putting in a new offense there. Supposedly, the offense that is, I think the offense is going in is supposed to be favorable for Pickett and his style, which is going to be more. It's going to be more dink and dunk. He's not a guy that's going to stretch the field too much, I don't think. So it's going to be a lot of stuff within 15, 20 yards of the line of scrimmage. So I guess we'll see. There'll be a learning curve there, I'm sure. The Steelers did some good work on the offensive line, so that should help out a bunch. Should help Najee. So that I expect them to play to their personnel strengths this season. Last season was kind of like last season for them. They were still trying to basically play like they had Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown, and like the offense was trying to run like they still had these big playmakers, and they need to adjust. So the new OC should help with that, I would think.
Yeah, definitely do agree with that. It'll be a very interesting setup for them. So we are on the over 1.5 with the Edmonton Knights. I've actually paired that with the Kraken over 1.5 since it's been 4 straight games for the Kraken over 1.5 in the first period. I know we were on the 6.5, if I'm correct, on the Edmonton Oilers, getting ready to kick off.
Are we going to take McDavid anytime goal? I mean, I know Rich might. He's like, hell no. But, I mean, it's just an auto.
What are we getting on it?
I was going to say, what's the number?
You guys aren't like it, but I'm taking the Edmonton minus 1.5.
I don't have a favorite. I actually hate the Knights more than I hate Edmonton, but Edmonton's just so they've never done anything. So
Edmonton's like the Leafs of the West.
Edmonton's like Miami Dolphins.
They're like regular season darlings.
Well, the problem is normally they get to the playoffs and they get out physical.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is a different Oilers team than what we've seen in years past, but I still think the Knights should win this game. I don't know though. You gave that number on the Dogs or on the road teams winning game 1. I mean, I didn't realize it was that big, but yeah, I mean that's kind of hard to bet against that.
Harris for 3. He's got 11. We need Harris to get 2 more points for us to cash that smart Harris bet. That'll be good. We look pretty good on the under. We need Marcus Smart to grab some rebounds here. He's not in the game right now.
The
Celtics are up 15, but Celtics are a terrible closing team. One of the worst closing teams in the league.
The Browns had a nice draft. The picks that they did have.
Yep.
Got a big body receiver in Tillman from Tennessee. I think that was a nice pick.
I like Tillman because he'll be a second year removed from an ACL tear. And he was once a prize prospect. So I think you're taking a chance on him. I think you're basically saying he's got the measurables. Let's see if last year was more of a fluke because he wasn't all the way recovered. Big 3 by Derek White. He's just drilling them every time Philly gets close.
Yep, they got him. They got some
TTR.
Some
TTR just in case they realize the Watson thing is a complete shambles.
No, I mean I think he's the next quarterback. I like Robinson. I like that pick a lot. I mean,
I like Robinson, but the question of the next quarterback, Watson's got like a 6-year deal.
yeah, but I mean
He's not going to stick
Robinson.
around for 6 years.
I might.
He's going to be
Depends
the
if they're
guy,
going to keep. Depends if they're going to keep paying him.
and you can turn to that Jacoby Brissett. That's going to be the question.
I mean, it's not Robinson's not ready to start in the NFL right now, anyway.
No, Embiid gets the block, and none of the other Sixers block out Horford, and he gets the easy layup. And then he comes back, and Embiid kind of scolds it back at his teammates.
I'll tell you the move that I did like was who I did think had a pretty nice draft, and a team who I didn't think had a nice draft was I think the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals had a nice that was a nice move they made when they traded back. They got a ton of picks. They got a haul on that.
So let me
on
talk
that
about
trade back.
they got screwed.
The Cardinals.
So yes, so here's what happened. So if you really look at this draft and you talk about it there, so 30 minutes before the draft, the talk is Tennessee is moving into the top 5 because there's a deal worked out with Arizona. If their players available, a trade is going to happen. Okay. I told everybody on Thursday to draft Arizona. It's taking Paris Johnson plus 300. So I said, this is who they want. They can drop back with Tennessee. They'll be fine with it. So Arizona, Houston, by taking Stroud first, killed all Arizona because apparently there were 3 or 4 deals that Arizona had with other teams to move up and take Stroud at 3. By taking Stroud at 2, it killed the whole market for Arizona. So that's why Arizona was like, what do we do? The deal they got from Houston was the worst deal of any of the deals they were offered.
Yeah, but I thought it was a good deal for Will Anderson. I mean, Houston traded up and gave away like 5 picks for a linebacker. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was not even the
I think
best
they gave
linebacker.
away a lot. I think they
Yes,
gave
you
away a
draft-
lot.
You took out Will Anderson and you draft him like he's going to be a edge rusher, and
Yeah.
he's not going to be an edge rusher in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys I like from their draft they pick up. I like the take on Clayton Tune where they drafted him in the 5th round. I think he has the size, the dimensions that you want for an NFL quarterback. He's a guy that might be able to develop. That they set out. Michael Wilson, not big on. I like the pickup of John Gaines in the interior at UCLA. He should be able to. He'll probably get some reps pretty early. I like Paris Johnson. I'm not big on PJ Alargio. I think he's nothing to be special about from an edge rusher perspective. But it's a solid B draft, and then the extra picks in future years.
I don't know. You guys probably aren't watching, but this the intro, the opening here, whatever the introduction of the stuff of this Knights Edmonton game, crazy.
Yeah. I apologize on the Sixers plus 8 because the Celtics are up 29. Celtics are just raining threes on their ass. So, yeah, that's not going to come through. It's 26 now. Now it's another 3. Now it's 29. Good news, that was done by Brogdon. So Brogdon cashes his points easy. He's got 19. So, whew. Harris just got his points. There we go. We cashed that. All right, Boston's up 7-3 with bases loaded again on Toronto. The relief pitching for Toronto is not doing well. The relief pitching for Minnesota is not doing well. White Sox are up 6-4 again. They're taking the hearts out of them. The Angels got 2 men on, 2 outs here, down 1. And Seattle and Oakland have been delayed.
Yep, White Sox are working on that first double-digit win. They're working on getting the 10 wins here. Only a month into the season.
Is that your wife telling them they're bad?
Yeah, they're bad.
Yes. All right, so it's 27-point game here. And that'll be all it routes. We get a 51-point quarter, only 16 points by Aaron. Another block by Robert Williams, and Brogdon from half court hits the front of the rim. Well, the series is going to be tied 1-1.
I need Bo Bichette. That's the last thing I need to happen for my that plus 800. Is Bichette. Everything else is good.
What is your wife watching?
We're watching the beginning of the Knights game.
Oh, turn up "O Canada." "O Canada" is the best song.
I like "O Canada."
I love "O Canada." It's the best.
Like as a national anthem. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad, but I actually kind of like "O Canada" better than the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, I always did. We'd always get a kick. I'd be like, when I go to the hockey game with the Lightning, it's like, ooh, I get to hear "O Canada."
Yeah. Yeah, as long as they're playing a Canadian team.
Yep.
I don't know. Canada's a cool place. It's like America's hat.
I've only been to Montreal in Canada. It's one of I've got more bucket lists, but my wife goes, I don't like traveling where it's cold. So I traveled with
Montreal is a really nice place. Toronto's nice too. Toronto's a really nice city. Toronto's the biggest city in Canada.
Yes. Yep. It's part of it's Buffalo. Kind of helps that basically Buffalo's right next door, and everyone just goes.
Yeah, but yeah, Buffalo's like Detroit, basically compared to Toronto.
I'm not sure anything's worse than Detroit.
Detroit is pretty bad. That's what we say here. At least we're not Detroit. Speaking of a team that did some weird moves, Lions, man. I don't know. You can always count on the Lions to do some weird shit.
Here's my question. There's got to be more to it. There's got to be either some malcontent in the locker room or something for you to get rid of Swift. Or he basically already said he wasn't going to resign.
They don't like him. I mean, from what they've seen from him, they obviously don't think that he's the guy. So I'm glad that they shipped him off instead of letting him hang out in that backfield. But Detroit doesn't exactly have the best track record with drafting running backs in the first and second round. They've drafted like 5 in the last 10 years, and most of them lasted maybe to the end of their rookie deal. Maybe.
Who are the 5 Detroit?
Javid Best.
Okay,
Amir
Javid
Abdullah.
Best. Javid Best had a great first year and then got hurt. And then he had to retire. So that had nothing to do with that.
Well, I mean, what did I say? They didn't make it to the end of their 5-year deal.
Yes, but that's not Detroit's fault there. That was an injury thing.
I bet there was a lot of people that couldn't even tell you who Javid Best was or where he played.
He's a running back out of UCLA.
I thought he was from Cal.
Or Cal, sorry. Yes.
One of the two. Anyway, Javid Best, Amir Abdullah, Kerryon Johnson,
Kerryon Johnson, Kerryon Johnson, I didn't understand, which all of a sudden he was like rookie of the year, and then he was just not fast enough. Yeah,
I mean,
it was
whether Best got whether he had concussions or not, I mean, he didn't make it. Like every NFL player deals with concussions and head injuries. It's part of the sport. So if you can't play through it and figure out how to not get concussions, then you're not a successful NFL player. There's 50 other running backs in the NFL that play through the same shit. And there's 500 guys that can't make it.
Kerryon Johnson was the second round pick. They gave up on it. Apparently, the entire league gave up on him right after they dropped him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's the Lions are like, okay, we're just going to keep drafting these guys. The one guy that they should have kept that they didn't was Jamal Williams.
I'm looking when they had Amir Abdullah, 2015. Another second round pick. He's kind of put out a nice little career for himself, but he was never going to be anything big.
Yeah, but he was touted as being a workhorse back, even though I don't think he was that big. I feel like Abdullah wasn't that big. He was more like a scat back type guy.
Yeah, he's a scat back. Javid Best, yeah. And Brian Calhoun in the third round. So, I mean, really, it's Kerryon Johnson. It's Javid Best.
It's Amir Abdullah, and now it's DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see. Actually, honestly, I think the landing spot for
basically never drafted a running back.
I think the landing spot for DeAndre Swift in Philly is perfect for him because he's not going to be asked to do too much. He's not going to get a ton of work. He's not going to be. He probably never gets more than 10 carries in Philly.
I see that whole thing as more of a ploy against Mike Sanders. And that's kind of
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, yes. Why am I getting?
He's in Carolina. He's gone.
Oh, did he leave? Okay.
Yeah, they let him go. It's who is it? It's Swift, Boston Scott. Who was the freaking guy from Memphis? Who's the running back from Memphis from a couple years ago?
The guy who was at who was in the Rams?
No, he's been on Philly.
Devery Henderson, who's not called Devery Henderson.
No.
Henderson.
Oh my God, who am I thinking of? Gainwell. There you go.
Trying
Thanks,
to look.
Bob. Gainwell.
Okay,
Kenneth Gainwell
from Villanova.
Oh, right, and they signed Rashad Penny, so they got 4 guys there. They got 4 running backs now. So not one of those guys is ever going to see more than 10 carries, which is good because Penny and Swift are both injury prone.
They also have Trey Sermon.
They have Trey Sermon?
Yep.
He probably ain't going to make the team. He probably ain't going to make the team unless they cut Penny. They're not going to cut Gainwell.
Remember when people were so excited for Trey Sermon when he got to he's getting to play here. He's in San Francisco. He's in the greatest place he can be.
He parlayed one season into millions of dollars. It was the biggest stage. But
we're not going to hit our smart bet because the game got out of hand. I'm going to lose both double dips.
Yeah, I think Philly had a nice. Philly had a nice draft. They had made some nice moves there.
We got an
Yeah.
Edmonton power play.
And they won that.
Uh-oh.
They won a some type of collusion or whatever. They won, like, that happened right before the draft that got kind of like buried. They won some collusion thing against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals had to give them their 3rd round pick or something.
Yep. Agreed. All right, so the Red Sox are up 7-3. Can't remember if this was 9.5 or 10.5.
It was 9.
All right,
9.5.
Nationals beat the Cubs. Royals beat the Orioles. Yankees beat the Guardians in extras. It still goes under, despite getting extra innings. Rockies are up 4-0. The Angels are still trailing 4-3.
We got a goal. There's one.
There's one. Let's go. All right, 7-3. We've got Bo Bichette, who's 0 for 4 for the day. There's 2 men on for Daniel Varsho here. Rich needs the Blue Jays to get some runs here, so you're gonna have one more chance for Bo, the legacy Bichette. Edmonton up 1. I wish I had player props live in hockey. Well, this game has got really boring real quick. And the Vegas scores right after. 1-1. Got 2 goals. I'm ahead of the TV. There's the over 1.5. So now we just need Seattle's over 1.5 to come through. What a terrible giveaway. Just coming around the net, getting ready to clear, get the puck stolen right at him, right from the net. One pass later, boom, goal. Yeah, for Vegas to have any chance in this series, they need to stay out of the penalty box.
Yeah, that penalty kill or that power play is crazy good.
It's not only just, it's crazy good, and the Vegas power killing is terrible, especially in the playoffs so far. All right, we got a 2-on-2. Nice poke check. Man, that'll be icing. So Vegas is minus 115. Edmonton's minus 115. Live total is now 7.5. If you want to hedge, you can hedge. I've been really watching this game a lot. Sucks that we don't have 2 NBA games. But you know what we do have? We have this thing called soccer. We got Club Leon getting ready to start right now. I am on Club Leon here. CONCACAF Soccer. UNL Tigres has got a nice 2-1 advantage. And the Angels are going to be left with just the 9th inning. Ooh. I missed Steel Canada. number 1 pick.
Yeah, they're hanging a 3.5 for the first period. Over. I got 8.5 for the live line.
I have 7.5.
Seattle game won't start until 7:45. Another 46 minutes, 44 minutes.
What did Wander do?
What'd you say?
Oh, the puck was on the other side of the net. They didn't realize it. I was saying, what did Wander do? Apparently, he was hot dogging. So ESPN has Wander
I got
Franco.
2 devices. Ain't no way Fox is going to be ahead of all 3. I'm going to find out which one's ahead.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm gonna be watching this hockey game, and I'm like, oh well, I guess I'll just go fuck myself then, because I'm gonna be so far behind.
I'm not just watching the hockey game. All right, do we got any UFC plays? Isn't it supposed to be a massive UFC card today? Where's Gerardo? Not today, but this weekend.
I think he gave out the plays in the
So apparently Acuna got struck out by the backup catcher tonight.
Yeah, but didn't he hit home run?
He did.
I didn't think they were allowed to do that anymore.
They were once it's up 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought they made some kind of rule change or something where they're not allowed to have position players pitch.
It has to be a blowout.
Mm.
So a routine shot to the shortstop. Franco grabs it, loves it, and he just flips it to himself in the air like this. Spins, and then he catches it in midair and then throws it to first base. No absolute reason to do it at all.
That game was a blowout, though.
Yes. I'm waiting to everybody be around town, have nothing but Rays hats on. Like, I've been a Rays fan for forever. I'm so happy. I really like Shane McClanahan.
Yeah. You still watch those games, and it doesn't look like there's anybody there. I don't understand. I mean, I guess it's just Florida in general just can't really support a baseball team because nobody goes to the Marlins games either, even when they were good.
Well, in Miami, there's always something better to do than go to the baseball
There
game.
must also be something better to do in Tampa too.
It's the stadium's not in Tampa. It's like putting the stadium in Put-in Bay and seeing how many people from Cleveland go to the game.
Well, I don't know your Florida geography. It's in the state.
But
whatever.
I told you, you know where Put-in Bay is.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like across the water from a bridge. Of course, you have no bridge at Put-in Bay. But let's envision there actually is a bridge.
No, you got to
goes
take a boat. You got to take a boat to get there.
So let's imagine if there was a bridge to go to Put-in Bay, how many people from Cleveland to go to the baseball game would go over to Put-in Bay?
Well, who decided to put the freaking stadium there?
Because it's always been the Tampa Bay area. Like Tampa Bay area is how they sell the place, which is well actually
It's Tampa St. Pete, right?
Well, it's no longer listed as Tampa St. Pete. They call it Tampa Bay area because they're trying to include Sarasota and Bradenton as part of Tampa Bay area. Now, granted, they build expressways to them so you can get to them in 30 minutes from Tampa. So
Little pitter patters.
that's kind of where they sell their whole area. The stadium is on the other side of St. Pete. It's more closer to basically St. Pete Beach than it is to actually Tampa Bay. So St. Pete is not a real. There are people with money, but those people with money are the minority. So you don't have a huge people wanting to go from St. Pete there. And a lot of people in Tampa don't go. It's an hour and 15 minutes to get to the stadium from Tampa. Then you add rush hour in Florida. It's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to the game.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's what it is for me to go to Cleveland. It's a little over an hour.
Correct. I mean,
but there's also a lot of people. There's
who's not.
There's a lot of people around. Yeah, there's a lot of people around Cleveland. They've
done a really good job
coming from my area.
They put a really good job doing restaurants. Goal. Sorry. You may see a goal. 2-1.
Over.
Yeah, it takes me about 45 minutes to get down to downtown. I don't live near downtown.
No.
Yeah, but that's per your choice. And I'm only talking like one area.
But there has to be people that live near the stadium.
They're trying to put so the lease is up in St. Pete. And St. Pete's trying to renew the lease because St. Pete wants to keep the stadium.
Sure.
Tampa wants to build a stadium right next to Amity.
Which is the Bucks?
Tampa. No, it's a hockey stadium.
Oh, Lightning. Okay.
Yes. The Bolts. Yeah. So there's all this discussion.
So
is
that not where the Bucks? Is that not where the Bucks stadium is? In that area?
The Bucks are about 25 minutes away.
Okay.
If there was no traffic, it would probably be about 10. But there's always traffic in Tampa.
I mean, I guess with teams that when you've got expansion and stuff, they kind of have to put the stadium wherever they can.
Yeah.
For expansion. I mean, obviously the Rays weren't an expansion team, but it's been like 20 years.
Yeah, so the stadium was first built to attract the Chicago White Sox back in 1988. So the stadium was there long before the Rays even got there. It is the Rays' 25th anniversary.
So it's not. It probably needs refreshed.
It needs some update. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they've got some really cool stuff. Like I was telling Dee, they put in the first one in Major League City is kind of like an Amazon Mart, but it's not an Amazon Mart. You walk in, you basically kind of scan this thing when you walk in, and then as soon as you walk in, you just pick up all your stuff, like for concessions, drinks.
Popcorn, and then you walk out and it charges you.
Yep.
It's RFID, like whatever. Yeah.
Yep. And it knows whether you picked it up or put it down or anything of that nature. So it makes it a whole lot quicker getting stuff. So, yep. All right. So it's 81-114.
The Skinner
in the
hurt.
Philadelphia game. 2 minutes game.
Looked like Skinner was down on the ice.
He didn't look too great. I will give you that. So they played him a lot. They played Harris ended up with 16 points, so he easily cashed his. Maxey gets a block, not a steal. Embiid ended up with 5 blocks in only 26 minutes. Kind of something to look forward to. That's kind of a joke. Warford got 2 blocks as the starting center. Only got 5 points, 7 rebounds. Smart ended up with 15 points, 5 rebounds. White had 15. He was 3 for 6 from 3. Grant Williams has come in. He's hit 4 for 8 from 3. Malcolm Brogdon got 23 points. The only bad problem is now we're going to look at Brogdon about 18 points a game for his prop. So Tatum only got the 3 assists because he only played 19 minutes. He had 4 fouls. He got in foul trouble, and it didn't matter. The Celtics cruised. It's 2 minutes to go. We need them not to score 17 points in a minute 45, which 40 seconds of that is going to be dribbling the basketball. So we shouldn't have any issue hitting this. So.
The Brewers Rockies first 5 under cash.
Red Sox score again. It's 8-3. So
Maybe I should have taken the alternate on that. 4 runs. Not bad.
Well, I took the Red Sox live, and I had the over, so I'm not worried about that.
No, I was talking about the Rockies game. Those first 5 unders, you can get 6, 6.5. They gave 7. They gave 7 tonight at Coors Field. Hit those all the time.
Yeah, that's when you kind of looking.
They give them to you because you know the air is thin. Well, you gotta have teams that can freaking hit the ball. Like you can't just score runs, but like the air just doesn't carry the ball out if you don't hit it.
Unless you're playing in Mexico.
Yeah, that was something, huh?
The fact that counted for fantasy stats was an absolute joke.
When we were talking, I forget somebody called that out. I don't know if it was Jump Shot or somebody called that out in the chat, and we were trying to figure that out. I think Saturday morning, and I figured it out with the elevation. After I checked the weather, I'm like, it's only going to be like 78. The wind was fine. The ballpark was like, it was a little small, but it was relatively normal size. It was like 325 down the lines and then 400 in center. So it wasn't massive, but it wasn't terribly small either, like when they played in London. But then when I looked up the elevation, I'm like, yeah, that's why. It's the elevation. It's gonna be like Coors Field on steroids.
Ooh, offsides.
It was like another 2,000 feet higher than Coors Field, or 2,500 feet.
Yeah, that's what they talked about. Yep.
Can't breathe.
All right.
You guys can't breathe there either. The air is super thin. Like I'm actually surprised that they didn't bring that up. Like more guys having issues breathing.
All right, so we're through the first month. Who wins the American League East? The odd thing, the fact that the Rays are so good but only have a 4-point lead. That's the one thing that you guys scratch your head and go, really?
I don't know. It doesn't. It's hard to see. It's hard to see them falling off too much, but
they don't have to fall off that much. I mean, for the fact that they have 25 wins and 6 losses, you would expect them to have a 6 or 7 game win.
Yeah,
the Angels just hit a top of the 9th home run. Tight.
That sucks. I was hoping they lost since they lost my bet.
Yay! Other people aren't hoping for the loss. They'll lose at the bottom of the 10th.
Bob says the O's. The O's don't have the pitching, I don't think.
They don't have the pitching.
No, honestly, I think
the O's are
it'll
going to get
be
confused by the Rays next week.
the Yanks.
I mean, the only question with the Yanks is the health of. I mean, you see, Judge and Stanton goes out, and that lineup can't hit.
Yeah, it's going to be the health of. It's going to be the health of those two, and then it's also going to be their pitching staff. They've got see what they get from their pitchers. They still got Rodon. He's
You
going to
got
be coming
Rodon
back at some point.
You got Rodon and Severino coming back. People forget about Severino, but he's been solid the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's the Jays.
I would keep waiting, to be honest. Wait another week or so, and then you might get a little bit of a better number. But they're gonna start picking up some games here. Everybody plays everybody this year, so
Yeah.
Yep.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
a little
that's
different.
one thing. That's one thing that I've noticed just by watching the games every day. Watching who's playing who every day. Is there's a lot of it's just teams that you don't normally see playing each other because of the way they shuffled the schedule this year.
There is, and that's the one thing I kind of tell people when they're looking at the Orioles. The Orioles have played Detroit, Kansas City.
Right. Yep. Teams that are in.
Teams are more in the basement than they played there, where the other teams have played the more upper echelon teams. So I kind of tell people your Oriole record is kind of paper mache. They may make the playoffs.
Well, teams that are in crappier divisions have to play teams in stronger divisions, but the opposite is true. Teams that are in, like the AL East, NL East, NL West, the stronger divisions get to play the Central, NL and AL Central, which are the weak ones.
Yeah, so probably 3 teams, maybe 4 teams make the playoffs from the American League East.
I would say Toronto between Toronto, Tampa, and the Yankees, and I would say at least 2 of those 3 make it.
Yep. All right. So I know you're not biased for this, so we will take your opinion as 100% truthful. American League Central, you have 1 team with a winning record and 4 teams with a losing record.
Yeah, you got some major issues.
But do you take your chance on the Guardians, knowing that they're going to get some more pitching coming back?
The number is. I looked at it today, and the number is. They know, like the books know, they're giving you 2-1. They're giving you 2-1 because they've done this 3 years in a row where they've had a terrible first half of the season, and then they win the division. They've done it 2 or 3 years in a row.
I would take 2-1.
Yeah, it's like plus 220 or something right now. It's not.
I'd probably take that. It's not going to be the Tigers. It's not going to be the White Sox. It's not going to be the Royals.
It's not going to be the Royals. The White Sox could turn it. The White Sox could turn it around. I don't know what is wrong with that team, but I thought it was La Russa. I thought it was La Russa. It turns out it wasn't La Russa.
There's no next NBA game tonight. There's only 1 game. Games tomorrow. We get this 1 game a night game thing, Bob. So AL West, we have the Rangers, the Angels, the Astros, the Mariners, and the Athletics are a minor league team.
Yeah, you want to talk about a competitive division.
Really, though.
That's a competitive division besides Oakland. The Angels have been playing well this year.
John Mark goes to the bench here. He's hurt.
Rangers are finally coming around. They got some pitching. They're getting a lot of offense. They'll be a pretty steady over team once
another run for the Angels, 6-4.
Once the 90+ degree days start coming through there.
That's the question, though. Can they sustain it, though? They only got a 2-game lead on the Angels. And the Angels actually finally get the postseason.
They've been spending money on bats for the last 2 or 3 years, and it seems to be finally.
And they've got young guys. And they got young guys. You got Young, you got Lowe, and you got Perez coming through, which has helped out. Then you got Semien, and you've got my boy Corey Seager. Question is pitching. Is Leclerc for real? Can he really keep this up? Angels battling back tonight. 6-4, bottom of the ninth. Let's go. Maybe they
I
bring
mean,
in
I
Escalade.
think Houston is still probably the team to beat there. I think they're still they're still probably the most well-rounded team.
Well, Verlander's gone. You've got 4 or 5 young pitchers, but so far haven't really put it together. I mean, you showed Alvarez went out for a week and that team torpedoed. So I do question Houston, but I think they'll make it close. Those 3 should be
I mean,
3-horse.
they're the only team in that division that's been there. So
I know a
we'll
lot of
see.
people like Seattle.
Yeah,
They're 13-16.
yeah. I mean, I like Seattle. They're a solid team, but I don't know. They got Castillo. It's a solid ace. Got him locked
Gilbert's
up.
solid. Yep.
Yeah, Gilbert's been solid. Is it Robbie Ray's done for the year, right? He was there.
Yep. That's kind of
That
the
was kind of
question
a
when you
big
start to
loss.
look at that. Ty France has been solid. Suarez is kind of there. Koleshnik has been carrying. He's been carrying that dude's team. There, J. Rod is there. I don't think Teoscar. I think his best days are behind him. But yeah. So I mean, you look at their staff. Kirby's there, and I mean, the question is going to be the 4th and 5th guy. Munoz should be coming back soon. So, and Seawold essentially will help them and give them a nice 1-2 punch. I think they're still. I think the book hasn't been written there. National League East. I don't think anybody catches the Braves. I think the Braves team is so. They're the 2000 Cleveland Indians offense. They're going to score 100 runs. 1,000
Yeah,
runs definitely coming.
yeah. They seem to have the offense for sure.
I mean, bearing injury.
I mean, you look at the
The
weakness of
problem
their
is,
team.
I mean, who do they have? Who do they have starting? Who do they have starting pitching besides once you get past Strider?
Freed.
Well, Kyle
Still
Wright's
in
Freed,
the
you
been down
still have
tonight.
Charlie Morton's still
Charlie.
there, and I mean, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
Dylan Dodd's there. Kobe Allard is still listed as a high-end prospect. He should be back. Their bullpen hasn't been good with AJ Minter giving up some runs, but you got to remember Iglesias hasn't pitched all year, and he's eventually going to come back. So Minter will move into the more setup role, which is what he should be doing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I
don't
guess the pitching isn't going to be that big a deal as long as they're scoring 6, 8, 9 runs a game. But I mean, obviously, that's not going to win you a World Series.
no, and I'm not sure.
If you don't have any pitching, you're not winning the World Series. So
You can hit. There are teams that have hit their way to a World Series, but yes, you need solid pitching. But they've got at least a 1-2 punch, so it wouldn't be like they're coming in with no pitching. And you got to remember, they could be shipping some guys out to make ways. I mean, they've had some guys come up and play. Why they've been waiting for Michael Harris to come back? So who knows?
you gotta have an ace. You gotta have a guy that you can throw out there that can get you a win when you need it.
Unbeknownst to my father, Max Fried finished in the top 3 in the Cy Young award last year. So that would be your ace. Strider potentially as well too. Central, big surprise. Even though this was Veason's best bet, was the Pirates win total over. They should win this bet easily. But I don't think the Pirates have longevity. I think the Brewers are going to catch them. I think the Brewers are going to catch them. And when they play the better teams, they're getting slopped around.
Yeah, I mean, no, they don't have the starting pitching to hang.
Yeah, I don't think the Cubs challenge here. I think this is the Cubs Brewers series here, but I think it's the Brewers.
No Cards?
Cards are 10 games down. They have major issues. You got to remember, they just gave up Christian Pache for nothing. They gave up Pache to the Phillies, which I can't understand.
Well,
Pache
yeah,
was-
but the Braves gave him up for nothing too. There's something there. The Braves gave him up in that Olsen trade, I think.
yeah,
I think the Braves gave him up for nothing too. I mean, he was a highly touted prospect, and they gave him away, and he's obviously
he
going
did
to give
well
it
in
away
Philly
again.
before he got hurt.
Yeah.
What a save! Should have scored.
Yeah, I don't know. I see that Central Division as being pretty wide open, to be honest. The NL.
Another goal. Knights are up 3-1.
I could probably see, man, 4 goals in the first period. Hell yeah. Let's go, D. Let's go.
Pache has hit really well since he moved over from there until he got hurt. Pache's got all the skills. He just needs time and at bats.
Yeah, he was like a 200. I mean, he came up for the Braves for a minute, and he was hitting like 200 or $190 or something like that.
All right, so we got 2 outs here in the Angels-Cardinals game here. They're about to wrap this up. The Red Sox do wrap it up 8-3. They win this up. So Edmonton in some trouble here. All right, now we wait to what D was going to wait. I'm sure he's got a different take than other people. National League West. The
D-backs.
Dodgers loaded with pitching. Why are people liking the D-backs?
D-backs.
Please tell me who is going to be the guy. I'm going to ask you who on the D-back, because I have their supposed main guy, and he's been sucking ass.
I like the D-backs because I can get them plus money a lot of days, and
Corbin Carroll's hurt already. Obviously, he should be back.
yeah.
Lourdes Gurriel has played well, but the guy prone to get injury. Christian Walker's batting .230, and only like 5 home runs, so he's not really hitting the ball cover off the ball. I look at their team, and I can't even bet them most days. I don't like Zach Ellen, I don't like Merrill Kelly, and I don't like Ryan Nelson. Other than that, their pitching's fine, and that's their first 3 pitchers. I'm not even a fan of their closer, Andrew Chafin or Miguel Castro. What about the D-backs do you like? I mean, I would take the Padres. I would join D on the Padres before.
Sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, this was a really good start for the D-backs, but
I mean, how do you not like the Padres, man? Come on, we'd have no holes in our lineup.
You have no pitching.
Well, I think there was a
And you
big
have
hole
plenty of
until
holes in your
Tatis
lineup.
came back. I think there was a giant hole until Tatis came back, and that team's turned completely around with him in that lineup. The question is, how long does he stay in that lineup before he gets hurt? Because you know it's coming. He hasn't played one full season yet, I don't think.
No. I don't like any of their pitching. I mean, Darvish, we've talked about there. I didn't like him when he played for the Cubs. I don't like him now. Joe Musgrove is an innings eater. Blake Snell is not the same pitcher that he was. Seth Lugo is overachieved this year, and Michael Wacha is please take the other team when he pitches.
Yeah, Darvish is good. Darvish is good on the right spot. Snell's past his prime. They suckered. The Rays suckered the Padres on Snell.
Definitely.
Yeah, there was definitely something that they were not aware of.
Yeah, there was something. I remember reading or hearing something with Snell's metrics before that trade happened, and like the Rays basically saw that he was. It was something with his. It was either his luck or something.
5 goals in the first period.
Yeah, it was something with his. It was basically his numbers were paper tiger or whatever when he was in Tampa. But he's definitely, I think he's definitely past his prime. And honestly, they gave their best young prospect in that Soto deal. It's Mackenzie Gore, and he's actually been pitching pretty well there.
Well, he threw to the Nationals, but yes. Yep. Yeah, and Soto's actually been able to hit the ball. That's kind of nice. 11 seconds. Oh, they come roaring down. We almost get 6 goals in the first period. All right, so the Angels did win.
Pache is a career 171 batting average. I can't imagine he's got a ton of MLB at bats, but yeah, from what we've seen from him so far, he's not lived up to the billing.
Pache on the Phillies, which is what I was saying, with 36 at bats, 25 at bats, limited sample size, is batting .360 with 1 home run, 9 hits, 2 runs scored. So what Pache gives you is tremendous defensive play. He can give you tremendous speed, and
yeah, defense,
again,
stolen bases for sure. Yeah, he's definitely
I
good
said
there.
based on Philadelphia, you could have a guy who understands, talks to him. He starts to play better. He starts to get better.
Sure.
A lot of guys have
Yep.
changes, different batting coaches, and appeared.
Batting coaches, yep.
In limited sample size, 25 at bats. We're not talking about a ton of games. We're talking about 6 or 7 games. He's batting .360. So I don't think that's more the norm. But if you can get Pache to bat .275, that's a really nice player.
I think the standard right now for any of the kids that are coming up is pretty much 250. If they can go 1 for 4, then that's pretty much what you're getting from the kids coming up today. There's most of the prospects now, nobody really hits 300. Nobody hits 300. Nobody really hits 280. They're all 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. That's like the norm.
Yeah, so mine, Nico Horner, total bases over 1 and hits over 0.5, Bennett Cash.
So they got you.
Yes, they were able to get me. You know what the other bet I like? I don't like betting the Nerfy. I like betting the first inning draw. That's what I was telling you. That's my new thing. I bet that in a parlay, the first inning draw. Because even if you give up a run, I still can walk out of there with a win. Club Leon's up 2. Let's go. I took him first half too. So really,
And because we're a pizza company, we load them with pizza toppings. Our tasks made to be delivered. Try new loaded tots with your favorite pizza from Domino's.
All right. Well, this is the only thing going on because the A's haven't started yet. The Rockies are up 4-0. The Brewers are got 2 men on here, 2 outs here. Is the hockey game? We're done for the first period. We're gonna have 20 minutes of intermission of nothing. Are we making it through the hockey game? What's the plan here, guys? Are we talking?
I'm probably not going to make it, so I don't know. I don't know if you want to call it or if there's something else you want to talk about with the draft and stuff. Since I didn't miss last week.
So we talked about the draft. Overall, with the show, we did pretty well with the draft. Most of the calls that we called early on under 4.5 quarterbacks taken. We lost the wide receiver bet. We hit Bijan Robinson directly. We get the plus 200 on the over 1.5 running backs taken. It happened way earlier than we expected. I lost my Jackson Smith and Jigma going 12 when Houston traded down. I was like, oh, that shit. We're done. That's not happening. I hit Paris
What's,
Johnson. We talked about plus 400. So overall, from that perspective, and of course, Bryce Young at the first pick when you guys were all telling me was C.J. Stroud.
what was that?
I said Bryce Young is the first pick when you guys were all in the chat telling me it's C.J. Stroud. Carolina traded for, and everyone's like, C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud said he's going to play horse with
Yeah, and then a week before the draft, Will Levis was supposed to be the number 1 pick, and then he ended up sitting in the green room for the entire first night.
According to a Reddit post, I can't believe that actually moved the line.
It moved it a lot.
Yes, and I know people that
Yeah,
went right down to
moved
the
it a
minus
lot.
1,700 when that
Why did
got moved.
let me
They're
ask
like,
you this? Why do you think that he slid to the second round?
I
Because
think there's a couple.
I thought he was a first rounder for sure.
Here's my thing. Once you got out of the top 10,
Yeah,
it was going to be, how do you sell your franchise when everyone doesn't like him as the next quarterback, and you taking one of the quarterbacks you already had? So that there was no other team that needed a quarterback.
So what is it that teams don't like about him, or was it just a limited number of teams? I think I thought the landing spot was Indianapolis. I thought that was the perfect fit for him. I thought
That's
the
what we
landing
heard the
spot
whole
was
time, that Indianapolis liked it. We've got it from high-end people inside the organization that they liked Will Levis, and that's the one that made the most sense. And I had a lot of bets of Will Levis going forward. That actually was a bet I gave out on the show. That was one of the ones we lost, obviously. But I thought, again, and I said, once you get out of the top teams, he was going to fall because Tennessee didn't make any move to go get him, which lead me to believe there was plenty of teams that would. Whether they thought he was going to fall, I don't think they did. So I don't think he was the guy they were willing to move up for. They wanted to move up for C.J. Stroud. That's who they said, this makes the most sense for us to move. Now, if Levis falls into our lap, that's a different story. Now, the fact Levis went through, you could start looking at the draft, and if you take 2 seconds and you look at the draft, this is the point where we talk about, I talked about this on the show, you don't have a lot of aging quarterbacks right now. So you didn't have a big retirement party of aging quarterbacks. And you got quarterbacks, which I think teams are going to fall issues in the next 2 years that you've draft. It's kind of the NBA thing what we've talked about before with the Clippers, where you've drafted a quarterback within the last 3 or 4 years. Well, it's 4 years now. Guess what? You still suck. And you've got to make your decision again. Do we take that? Because once you go through looking at the teams, I knew the Raiders, they didn't like Will Levis. I knew that for a fact. I've got insiders to the Raiders thing, so I knew he wasn't going to Will Levis. I knew he wasn't going to Arizona. He wasn't going to Atlanta. And I called you weren't here, but before the draft, I called the Eagles moving the 9. I said the Bears are going to trade with the Eagles, and the Eagles are going to take Jalen Carter, and the Bears are going to draft an offensive tackle. Now, we all thought that offensive tackle was Peter Skoronski. It wasn't. But I'm not thrilled with that pick. I liked Arnold Wright. I just think if you were going to draft Arnold Wright, you could have dropped down 3 or 4 picks. Now, that's not always the case and not always available, but my gut feeling is you could have done it to be able to pick something. The other fact is the only thing you got for was the 4th round was like, you were like, I don't really want to pick him here. So we're just going to move down. And they kind of done the thing quarterback, and they did it with McConnell. It was like, so we're going to have somebody else make the decision for us that we didn't draft Jalen Carter. So we're just going to give somebody else our pick, and they'll take him. And then we didn't draft him. He wasn't available. They did the same thing, traded around a couple of years ago with moved from 3 to 4. And the guy they should have took at 3 was there. So you start looking at Jets aren't drafted a quarterback. I mean, they could have, but you're not going to bring Will Levis in with Aaron Rodgers in the first year. That wasn't going to go well. The Skins are seem to be sold on Hal, so I knew they weren't drafting a quarterback. Patriots aren't drafting a quarterback. Lions possibly could have drafted a quarterback at 18, but the Lions think they're a playoff team, so similar to your argument that you made with Atlanta, they feel the need. Now, granted, I didn't think any linebacker was a first-round draft pick. We talked about that before. So picking Jack Campbell in the 18th, who everybody seems to love, that's a great pick. I think he's an average linebacker. I think almost all the linebackers in this draft were pretty bad. Bucks could have drafted Levis, but for everything I read and everything I hear in Tampa, they're full on Baker Mayfield. They won't be surprised if Baker Mayfield has a good year with that wide receiver crew, offensive line getting back, Jensen on a full year, that Baker Mayfield's not the quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years in Tampa. I hate to say that, but unfortunately, that's kind
Maybe.
of
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
or they suck ass and they trade everybody, and then they turn around and they take
Yeah.
Caleb.
That's probably more likely what's going to happen. But I mean,
Chargers
it's
aren't
almost
drafting a quarterback. The Ravens weren't going to draft a quarterback. The Vikings were the one team that you kind of thought they could have, but again, they would have had to sold why they didn't take a high-end receiver when Adam Thielen's gone, when you had that chance before, and when you do that, it's kind of worked out. So again, they also see themselves as a Super Bowl playoff team. So they weren't taking it. The Giants weren't taking a quarterback. The Bills weren't taking a quarterback. Cowboys definitely weren't taking a quarterback. Jags weren't taking a quarterback. Bengals weren't taking a quarterback. Saints, you could have argued. They could have brought in that and said, hey, you got a couple of years for Derek Carr. But again, you don't take a high-priced free agent and then draft a rookie first-round quarterback in the same year. It's not going to go well.
And they still have Winston. They still have Winston too. So I mean, it's just. I guess it's just there is a limited number. There are a limited number of teams that I felt like he was probably the second or third best quarterback in the draft, and obviously, some teams did not feel that way. A lot of teams did not feel that way.
Well, I think really, if you were Tennessee, this is what your thought process. By you trading, so you got to remember, you're at 3. Arizona trades out with Houston, so Houston goes to 12. Tennessee's there at 6, right? I think they kind of looked at the tea leaves and said, pick 33 if we can acquire that from Houston. Is either going to be Levis if he's there. I don't think they ever thought he'd be there, or Hooker.
No. I don't think anybody thought that he was going to slide out of the first round.
No. So I think their thought process was, we're going to draft Hendon Hooker at 33, and we'll deal with that at that pick. And the fact when Levis went there, they moved to 12. They were able to get their offensive line help. Then they're still able to get Levis right out of the point, which he's not going to start for a while. They already announced he's behind the depth chart behind Malik Willis. It shouldn't take him long to overtake Malik Willis. But
unless there's a major improvement there. I mean, the whole thing was when they drafted Willis last year was that he was probably a year or two away, or he was a year away from being a year away. So the pick made sense at the time because they're like, well, we've got Tannehill. Tannehill's going to be here for another few years, and then Willis should fill right in behind him. But I don't know. I'm not really sure the thought process there, but maybe they just don't like what they've seen from Willis so far. I mean, he did not look good, obviously.
He looked more than a year away. He looked like a deer in headlights. No idea what to do. And he looked like he was basically a running quarterback. He was a black version of Tim Tebow. So.
But we've seen quarterbacks look that bad before, and then figure it out. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen as much as vice versa as the other way around, but it happens.
All right, D's putting a play, and he's telling us both teams to score second period plus 115. Really, they can't be that. Only that. I don't have anything.
Plus 115 is that's a nice number.
Yeah. I have absolutely no hockey live bets right now. Let me see if FanDuel has that.
Let me see what I've got. Yeah, so I don't know. I really didn't expect Levis to slide that far.
I mean, I think basically once Minnesota passed, he was out of the first round, unless someone was coming back into it.
Sure.
That was the only way. Okay, so how do we get both teams to score? Where is that located in FanDuel? Second period bets. Exact goals total. Oh, both teams to score.
Yeah, okay, yeah, periods.
Plus 110. All right, I'll take that. There we go. We're rocking that, D. We're all on that. I will definitely rock that.
I'm looking for it. 8 goals.
Yep, let's get it. Let's get it.
Oh yeah, here we go. Will both teams score 1 or more goals in the second period? I will take it.
I wonder if I can get it on this too. Period 2, both teams to score. Yes, I can get it here too. Okay, cool. You can get it over 2 plus 140, by the way. Not that there's a guarantee we're going to have.
You got to get 3.
Same as the first period, but you got to get 3. And
Yeah, you got to get 3.
There are ever some teams to be able to get 3. It's a pretty good chance to be able to get 3. All right, so let's. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, so we'll end it there. We got Seattle and Oakland just tipping off. We're into the first inning. JP Sears has thrown 6 pitches to the first guy. We got a full count. J-Rod doing a good job getting the pitch count up. 3-2 count. Fouls it off. We've got some there. First out. JP Sears gets J-Rod out. First out of the day. All right, so we will end it there. So Edmonton over 6.5 for there. Tatum does not hit assists. Smart does hit his rebounds. Philly under 217 hits. But we toss with the Sixers plus 8. We get Tobias Harris and Smart, but we don't get the steals. Kind of our day. It's kind of a 1-on-1. We get Boston live plus 120. Can't remember. We didn't take a ton of things. We get the over 1.5 in the Knights thing. We have that tied with Seattle over 1.5. So we're going Royals to there. We didn't take anything with that. Didn't take anything with that. Those games were over before we started. I'm sure we had some other stuff. I'm probably not thinking as well. D got his Carolina bet in pretty easily. That was an easy casher. Actually cashed a minus 3.5 in that. So, and the 6.5 should hit, and hopefully we'll finish and we'll have a good night. So, other than that, we'll be back next week. Whether it be Thursday or whether it be Wednesday, we'll see. I don't know. The Wednesday's kind of working for me a little bit better. So, other than that, we'll talk to everybody. Good luck with your bets. All right.
Yep. See you, boys.